Just walk away. Just walk away, and there will be an end to the horror.
All right, everybody. How's it going today? We're back. I am Sirias here. Today we got John as well as Nick, and you can see John's picture down there, that little pussy. We got a cock and a pussy on the screen. So today we're going to be talking about Women's Day again, as well as some other things. So how is everybody? How are you doing, Nick?
Good. Everything good?
Good. Johnny? Is he there?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I just had to unmute my mic. I was looking at something on the YouTube also. But yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm doing great.
Okay, everybody. John's still is in Cambodia still. So I think on this channel, we're probably never going to lose the kind of, I guess, the expatriate flair. It's always going to be there to some degree. Or
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
It's always going to be there, man. So today we wanted to discuss a few things. First of all, if you can see that Trump tweet, "Happy Women's Day, send nudes." Women's Day's over, but in some parts of the world, especially the most feminized parts of the world, they're trying to extend it to an entire month. And I mentioned this a week before when I did a talk with Jay, that it was time to buckle down. But we wanted to, now that Women's Day has passed, the actual day, I think there's some things we can discuss. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Jordan Peterson today. We're going to get into that, and maybe a few other things on the side. So you guys saw the equal contribution video, right?
Yep.
Okay. So what I want to start off with, guys, or didn't you want to tell me, you wanted to tell me some kind of riddle or something?
Oh yeah, sure. All right, it's a story about a girl.
Okay.
While at the funeral of her own mother, she met a guy whom she did not know. She thought this guy was amazing, so much her dream guy she believed him to be, that she fell in love with him then and there. A few days later, the girl killed her own sister. Question: what is her motive in killing her sister?
Okay, so the woman was at her mother's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Met a guy. Fell madly in
Thought
love.
he was amazing.
Yeah,
he was
amazing.
great.
And then later killed her own sister.
Correct.
And I have to figure out what her motive was for killing her sister.
That's correct.
I don't know. It was her brother. She ended up fucking her brother. Her kissing cousin, was it? Her
the brother wasn't. Yeah. Shout out to Listerine.
Okay, so no, that's not.
Hardy, you got anything? What do you think?
Hardy,
why'd she do it? Why'd she kill her sister?
Oh boy, you got me. Yeah, I'm never very good at these kind of riddles.
I'll say it one more time. All right.
All right.
Okay.
While at the funeral of her own mother, she met a guy whom she did not know. She thought this guy was amazing, so much dream guy she believed him to be, that she fell in love with him then and there. Okay. A few days later, the girl killed her own sister. Why?
All right. If you guys are hearing this in the chats, if you can come up with the answer, type it in. I'm still. Give me a second.
She met a dream guy.
Right? Oh, I don't know. She killed her sister because she's a psychopath.
There you go. Bingo. She wanted a what?
She didn't want competition.
She was hoping that she would see the guy again at a funeral.
Okay, that's the part I missed because I kind of made the assumption that they were like dating after that. Sorry. Not
you get it now?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Right, so it was her mother's funeral. Sorry, what did you say?
So she wants to.
Here's a riddle.
Okay, go ahead, John. Sorry.
Oh, where do they get virgin wool?
Where?
Ugly sheep.
Okay. It's more of a joke than a riddle, but So, okay. Yeah, so what I want to do for our viewers today is I want to go over that Coltrane video. If anybody is listening now, if you know the Honey Badgers, I spent a little bit of time watching their video. They were watching Tucker Carlson talk about men in America, and I thought it was pretty fascinating. So we're going to do our own thing like that, but this time we're going to watch Coltrane's video. So let me get it up in the share screen.
I posted a link in the comments, by the way.
Did you? Okay. Now, if I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it when I play it, but we'll see. Give you a second here. There we go. So this is a video by Coltrane. It's called Equal Contribution. This is a fantastic video. So I suggest anybody listening now, after you're finished listening to us, go watch this video in its entirety. We're just going to skim through it. So let's start. He's got it broken down into the show notes. He's got the numbers, the timestamps. So we'll start with Rosalind Franklin.
It's International Women's Day. Let's start by talking about Rosalind Franklin. Franklin was the lady genius who single-handedly discovered DNA. Her work was then maliciously stolen by two men named James Watson and Francis Crick, who took credit for all of her work and robbed her of the Nobel Prize. Hashtag smash the patriarchy, hashtag oppressed women of history. I mean, it really does sound fucking awful when you put it like that, and it would be awful if any of it were actually true. The actual progression of historical events is somewhat more complicated than the tired old man-bad, woman-good, patriarchal oppression narrative that we're fed by the pro-feminist mainstream. I'm going to condense a lot of history here, but to start with, let's just get this minor issue out of the way first.
Yes. Can you guys hear it? No?
No, I can't.
Mine's mute.
Okay. The audience can hear it, but you guys can't, so I'm going to see.
Oh, it's good.
Okay.
As long as they don't hear us.
Now, listen, the first thing that he talks about in this is this Rosalind Franklin, and honestly, I didn't know who she was. Like, I'm not hip to my famous women in STEMs throughout history, right? But anyway, this chick has somehow been they contribute her with part of discovering DNA, right? And the feminists run the narrative like she was her work was stolen by these men, which he ends up proving was an absolute lie if we watch this. But the one thing I find the most fascinating about what he's talking about here is he's basically saying feminism, and he is blaming feminism, is trying to rewrite history. Now,
right.
And this is anybody that's been talking about feminism already knows this shit. They're trying to rewrite history. I mean, you've heard about this shit before, haven't you?
Yeah, they think they're going to undo all, the past injustices of women, when in fact it's not. It's just based on what it is that women do the past, millennia. Yeah. That's just what women do. Otherwise, they would have changed already. Yeah. At one point or another, there would have been a famous woman at one point in history, but there has not been. Therefore, we can see that women don't want to do these things.
No, they don't. And I think the idea of rewriting history is Orwellian. It's frightening. And it's somehow, through feminism, it's somehow justified in the name of what? I guess equal contribution is the way that the video is framed. And it's not just, again, this Rosalind Franklin. It's not just her. I mean, there was he mentions more women, and we'll get into them as he mentions them. But there's all sorts of women lying. Women lie. The media lies. They're lying about history. They're trying to change history. That to me is frightening. So let me just keep going with this one a bit here.
Franklin did not discover DNA. Neither did Watson and Crick. Towards the last third of the 19th century, Friedrich Miescher had discovered a microscopic substance which he called nuclein, and later eventually managed to isolate a pure sample of what we now call DNA.
All right, so he's just going to go into the history of it, right? So I want to go on to the next one, which was Ada Lovelace.
I think another great example of this romanticism, or dare I say revisionism of historical female achievement, is Ada Lovelace, a mathematical wunderkind who grew up to become a close associate of Charles Babbage. Lovelace is widely credited as being the world's first computer programmer, having published a paper which included an algorithm to compute Bernoulli numbers on Babbage's non-existent hypothetical mechanical computer called the analytical engine.
If you got it on your own
good three-part series that Computerphile did on the work of Babbage and Lovelace, wherein David Brailsford suggests that Lovelace really saw past the technological limitations of her era and recognised that with sufficiently complex algorithms, novel problems could be mechanically solved. Frankly, if anyone from that era could be credited with laying the groundwork for our modern information age, that person would undoubtedly be George Boole, whose mathematical computer science near advanced enough.
Anyway, again, Ada Lovelace, have you heard of her?
No.
Yeah, see, these are women I've never heard of either, man. But he's bringing them up to kind of introduce a point of how the modern narrative is so desperate to include women into everything that they're making shit up. It's fucking fantastic. I wanted to... Hey, John, are you there? He's muted. Johnny boy.
Well, John's the one that found this video.
Yeah. I was just getting myself a cup of water. I'm here. Yes?
Look, man, you... Did they do any kind of Women's Day thing in Cambodia on Wednesday?
To be quite honest, I haven't really been around. I kind of stay in my apartment. I'm a bit of a shut-in these days because this city is just so unpleasant. But I went out for a walk yesterday, and I think the Himawari Hotel, I was walking along the riverfront, and the Himawari Hotel had some Women's Day special. You know, I think women got, one free drink for if she buys a drink or some shit like that. But I'm sure if you go around town, you'll see things like that. But
you see, there were protests when I was there. I remember seeing shit, women with like fucking, it would be like a group of 20 pissed off fucking middle-aged Cambodian women screaming with white chicks about, patriarchy. I've seen it.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
I didn't check the Phnom Penh Post. You could check the Phnom Penh Post.
Right,
but
Phnom Penh Post, Western Rag. You know the dribble. You know the deal with these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I was about these, this whole thing about women and what's her name, Rosalind, what's her face,
Franklin.
Rosalind Franklin. And, you think about people like Amelia Earhart, too. You're always hearing the first woman to do traditionally male-dominated stuff. The first woman pilot, the first woman doctor, the first woman astronaut. But if women
they have women astronauts, sorry.
Why is it always the first woman to do something that men invent? Why don't women invent their own thing? Why didn't women invent the airplane? Why didn't women invent rocket ships? Then they could keep men out of the stuff that they invented, right? Why isn't it like that?
Well, we all know the answer to that question.
We're dragging them along in work now. You see what I'm saying? They've invaded every orifice of the man, and now they're even at work, and they're destroying that. Any crevice a man tries to hide, they have to force their way into.
Yeah. Parasitic. And again, that's
why didn't women invent the rocket ship? Then they could prevent men from becoming astronauts, right?
Yeah. These kind of questions, though, to most of us are kind of rhetorical because we better understand sort of the nature of the nature of women. And I've always argued that we're in this situation because the powers that be understand how to manipulate the worst aspects of femininity, the worst aspects of women's behavior. That's why we're in this goddamn mess.
100%. That was a good statement.
Yeah, and the again, like you mentioned, Amelia Earhart. Now, Coltrane also mentions he mentions other professions, and one of them he mentions the arts. Okay, and I think I'm gonna go to that one. Let's see, modern healthcare, comedy. Let's go to modern healthcare quickly.
10%.
We're
But what
watch
about
this
an
now.
industry such as nursing? Unlike our commonly held misconception
I need to share the screen first. I really need to get a new monitor, or a second monitor.
of cooking, we know for a fact that nursing is overwhelmingly female-dominated, to the tune of 90%. Well, would you believe me if I told you that we see the exact same trend we do with Michelin stars? Women may dominate nursing in raw numbers, but it is still the men who dominate in terms of excellence and achievement.
Okay, so here he's talking about the nursing, okay? And before that, which I skipped, he was talking about cooking. He was talking about how we kind of make the assumption that sort of in the cooking trade there'd be kind of a 50-50 split maybe, men and women. It's still the larger percentage are men in the profession, but it's the masters have always been men. The masters. I mean, it's so out of proportion. So the point he's getting at eventually is that even in fields that traditionally are thought of to be more of a role for women, they don't put in the effort to actually become very good at it. It's the men that do it. So he says in nursing, the nurses that specialize and become great in their field are men. In a field that's 90% women. That 10% of men rise to the top.
And what's this, being a cook?
No, being a nurse. And, well, he talked about being a cook first, but now we're talking... Because what he's trying to say is that in the cooking profession, there's more of a balance, right, of the genders. And then, but even though there's a balance of the genders in the cooking profession, it's 90% of the men rise to the top, right? Whereas the women don't. There's very few chef masters that are women.
Are you disrespecting my mother's sauce right now?
I don't know. I've never had it.
Oh, and also there's what was he talking about? There's cooking, and the other one, nursing. Yeah, it's the male nurses who go into specialties that require a huge amount of time and effort to become really good at.
Yes, that's exactly right. So even though in nursing is a field that's 90% dominated by women, all right? That's just the sheer numbers of the occupation. It is 10%. That 10% of men are the only ones that become the cream of the crop. They rise to the top, they choose specialties and become very good at it and make good money. All right? So this is his theme. And I guess we can kind of relate, we all can relate to that, is that women really don't put that much effort into their work.
No, they don't want to work.
No, so
we all know this. They really don't.
Yeah. And this is a wonderful video for Women's Day too, because it really does sort of celebrate what women really want, and that is everything given to them. But we're getting to that anyway. Okay, the other one he talks about, we're still screen sharing, right? Oh yeah, there it is. The other one he talks about is, if you guys, when I'm screen sharing, if you guys have a chance, kind of take a look at the chats, because I can't look at them when I'm screen sharing. Oh my!
Nothing's happened in the chats as far as I can see.
Okay, that's all right. I wanted to talk. There's one more thing he talks about with doctors, and let me just see if I can find it without looking.
90% of registered make more. Whether that is through writing white papers to be published in nursing. In other words, she wants to go out boozing with her friends instead of putting the extra hours into career development that her male co-workers do. Went on working until the work was done.
Okay, here.
For a few moments, I was struck Do No Harm by Henry Marsh. Feeble definition of bias basically amounts to female nurses personally All
right, sorry, I'm skipping around a bit, viewers, but here, this part, I'm going to play this part, Nick, and if you want to watch it on your end, it's at about 44 minutes and 47 seconds into the video. But this is
all right.
This is really frightening, and he mentions how frightening it is. I'll play it now. When it's done, then I'll come back and we'll
prioritizing social and family responsibilities over their careers, rather than anything that could be remotely described as institutional sexist discrimination. Yeah, right. Social responsibilities. In other words, she wants to go out boozing with her friends instead of putting the extra hours into career development that her male co-workers do. And somehow, that personal choice apparently constitutes bias against her. I recently read the book Do No Harm by Henry Marsh, wherein he recounts one anecdote of a female anaesthetist who almost railroaded an operation for an elderly woman who'd already had her surgery delayed once that week already.
Okay, so he's talking about a book that was written by a doctor, and the doctor has an anecdotal story in it about a female anesthetician, the ones that anesthetize. I don't know how to say that.
Anesthesiologist?
Yeah, sure. Anyway, she was a professional, and she decided one day they had set a surgery for 4 o'clock in the afternoon one day for an elderly woman, and the doctor, who was a female, who was supposed to step up and do the job at 4, just said, "Nah, I'm going home to see my kids." Right? So let me just continue it here.
She was the on-call anaesthetist, and when Marsh finally found her lounging around in the staff room drinking coffee and gossiping, she flat out refused to start an operation at 4 in the afternoon as planned,
this is a great video,
she
by
didn't
the way,
have childcare
Hardy.
that night.
Good find.
Okay, so she basically just as a nurse with her responsibility said, "You know what? I'm going to skip this. I'm going to go home and take care of my kids." And the reaction of the doctor, the one who wrote the book, he said, "I was absolutely shocked that someone would just skirt their responsibilities like that." And then the doctor goes on to say, we never thought about that before. It's never been like that before. It was just you do the work until the work is done. And that's the reason why doctors get paid so much fucking money." So his reaction to this woman just going, I'm going home, was one of shock. And again, this goes back to what we've talked a lot about, Nick, with women in submarines. They're really
just invading your space.
They're really destroying, and that's dangerous. And again, women in submarines is dangerous, as we know, because your sub's gonna go fucking missing, for Christ's sake.
You're putting your life in danger because of their insanity. That's what it's turning into.
Absolutely, it's starting to affect our mortal lives. Bending to this feminist narrative is a danger to you and I and those watching and your children and your parents. It's a danger to all.
You have to really, what you got to pray for is that the people that are pushing this narrative are going to die soon. That's the only thing you got to pray they die soon. The people that are shoving these agendas down our throat, and I think they are. I think these people are very old. I really do believe that.
But Nick, we are going to get into this after we're done with this Cold Tame video, and that is Jordan Peterson, and we're going to talk about his video to kids and parents of junior high school and high school. All right? Now, yes, these people are going to die, but they're doing their damnedest to make it doctrine.
They're throwing everything. They're throwing the kitchen sink at you right now.
Yeah. It's pretty scary. It's pretty frightening. This little anecdotal story about this doctor's experience with this anesthesiast nurse, was frightening to me. Like, it kind of put a chill up my spine. I thought, why, my God, that's terrifying. And he felt the same. The doctor actually felt the same in the way he wrote. The Jordan Peterson video we're going to watch about the kids, the schools, that gave me shivers. That was fucking frightening.
Oh, you like that, huh? It was a good fun.
It was very good.
Fine.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that one in a minute. So, okay. So let me go. That's with healthcare. I want to go into comedy. Comedy's interesting. We'll play a little bit of comedy, and then I'll make a comment on it. It's at 54:14.
Now, whilst the callous, lazy entitlement of women in the workforce is an interesting topic, I think an equally interesting topic is the area of artistic expression. You see, thanks to government legislation, I am more or less forced by mandate to work alongside women and hold my tongue. One must keep up the collective delusion that...
That's another thing I want to mention. This guy is Australian, and the more I listen to this type of content from Australian producers, YouTube producers, the more I think maybe Australia's worse than Canada. Like it's pretty,
yeah, it is in a lot of ways. Yeah,
it's really bad there. I mean, if I am to go off of what these Australians are telling me. Okay, let me just keep going here.
That the Empress wears clothes. The very suggestion that workplace gender discrepancies are the result of anything other than institutional sexist discrimination could very well get you fired, a la James Damore. But no amount of government legislation or corporate diversity quotas are ever going to force men in the privacy of their own homes to voluntarily turn on Netflix and watch Amy Schumer complain for an hour about the barnyard animal smells that emanate from her crusty unused.
Okay. He's talking about Amy Schumer, right? You remember that part?
Yeah. She's horrible. Absolutely fucking horrible.
I don't.
She steals dead comedians' jokes.
Yes.
Like, she's been called out many times for that.
Yeah.
So even her comedy routine, she needs to copy a guy.
Yes. She's been called out on stuff. You can look at videos. Just type in Amy Schumer stolen jokes, and there's a library of videos.
She stole from my boy Patrice O'Neill. She hated Patrice O'Neill, hated him, because he was a real MGTOW guy. If you ever listened to his radio show, he was MGTOW before there was MGTOW.
Mm-hmm. She's and this is the thing. So basically now we've gone through some of the professions of these medical professions. He's mentioned politics. He mentioned STEMs. He went into healthcare. Now he's talking about comedy, and he'll get into the arts and philosophy as well. So even in something like comedy, women can't perform. Okay, and he goes on to say it's not even just that she steals jokes, but her quality of jokes are absolutely horrible. Who's the other who's that Jewish female comedian?
Sarah Silverman.
Oh, what a horrible cunt. What a horrible cunt.
Hey, what do the both of them have in common?
What? They're Jewish?
Yeah, both again.
Oh, is she Jewish? What's her name? Amy Schumer. She's Jewish?
Oh my God, are you really asking me that question? Do you know who her uncle is?
Who's her uncle?
Chuck Schumer.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Do you know who Chuck Schumer is?
No, who's Chuck Schumer?
Wow, now I know you're Canadian. He's a very famous Democrat in America. He's from my state. He's been a senator for 20 years.
She doesn't really look so, does she? You don't see that many blonde Jews.
Yeah, but what looks Jew?
No, there are a lot of blonde Jews. A lot.
But she doesn't have the nose. Or
but she's still related and everything. Jewish women are really pretty in New York, man. They're really attractive.
Do they stink?
No, they're top notch.
Well, how come we got Amy Schumer as a comedian? The fuck?
I don't know, because you can't put an attractive woman up there. She's got to appease her little peons, her plebs, the fucking fat average white girl who's just mad at the world with her dog.
Well, also, I don't think attractive women can be funny. I don't think they know how. I don't think attractive women have senses of humor.
Very few have.
Very few. And again, that's a topic that's come up a few times within MGTOW circles. And I remember, who is the famous atheist that died?
Christopher Hitchens?
Yes, Christopher Hitchens. In an interview he did with a woman, he said he's made some very MGTOW comments. Actually, Christopher Hitchens, he actually spoke about how he thought it was okay to kind of discipline a woman. Very kind of traditionalist in that sense, but he mentioned how women aren't funny and can't be funny because it's not men are funny because it's an evolutionary.
They have to attract women.
Yes, it's evolutionary to attract women. They use humor to attract women. Women don't need to. I mean, women just have to show their tits, right?
It comes back to the old thing. Women are human beings. Men are human doings. All women have to do is be, is to exist.
Yes. Absolutely. So, I agree with Christopher Hitchens on that. I think that's one reason why women can't really be that funny. I've known some kind of funny women in my time that, but I think
I've only ready for this. I've only met 2 in my entire life.
Yeah. I'd probably say about the same. 2 that were actually funny. But
I can belly laugh. Like a woman making me belly laugh. I've only met 2 in my life.
Oh, jeez. I don't even know if I've met any, to be honest.
Really?
Maybe one. I don't know.
They're both completely nuts. One of them is like has like a. I think last time single mom. Last time I talked to her, again single mom. She wound up doing drugs. Really, again just the typical sad story. Yeah. Well,
anyway, so Coltrane talks about he's into humor now. He mentions how they're humorless. I mean, her jokes are what? This is the icing is him saying that all their jokes are about themselves, about how their pussy smells.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
No observational comedy.
No, none. They can't do it. It's all just about themselves. So Silverman's the same. It's just got to be. It's filthy. It's filth. They think that this filth, and I don't know. I can't.
I'll give you. Do you know any of Sarah Silverman's jokes?
No. Well, I don't know.
I know one. If life gives you AIDS, you make lemonades.
Oh God.
It's not even really funny. It's just like kind of like sick in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay.
When life gives you AIDS, you make lemonades.
But here's another thing. There's a lot of Jewish female comedians.
Yeah, Judy Gold. It's another one. She was actually funny, but she's a lesbian. She's really funny. I like Judy Gold. She's pretty cool. But again, a lesbian. Why? What? Why does she have to be a lesbian? Why do you got to take it up a notch?
Absolutely.
It's like, who can outdo? I'll be the first lesbian comedian. No, I'll be the first transgender and biracial comedian, and like it just keeps going.
Transracial.
Transracial. Who's an atheist? And she writes for Salon Magazine. Salon.com. So
yeah. Okay, so there. There's a sampling of Coltane's talk on comedy. Now we're going to get into the arts, and this is pretty interesting too. So let me play this for a few minutes.
Mail art is an expressive examination of the world around us, an often biased but always entertaining view of historical events, like Delacroix's depiction of liberty leading the people, or the Spanish Civil War depicted in Picasso's Guernica. Unlike women and their necessity for lived experience, it really doesn't matter that I am an atheist. I can still appreciate Michelangelo's creation of Adam. As an individual, Vincent van Gogh was crazy enough to cut off his own ear in the hopes that it would stop the schizophrenic voices in his head, but regardless, as an artwork, Starry Night still stands on its own merit.
Okay, so here, first of all, he's talking about some incredible works of art that men have done in the past. And he mentions how Van Gogh, even despite being crazy, his art is still appreciated today, right? Again, like the comedy, men's art is observational, correct?
The male artist is always fairly separate to the subject matter that he explores in the world around him.
And he talked about Frida Kahlo.
Yes. He's getting. I'm going to get into that, but right now, when he's talking about the males, the subject of their art isn't themselves. It's again like the comedy. I mean, the subject of male comedy is not themselves. It's the world around them. And it's the same with the art. Okay, Van Gogh, Michelangelo, Picasso. They're expressing. They're putting into paint an expression of what they see and experience around them. Okay. Then he gets into let me find it. Here it is. Let me just play it again for a few seconds for the viewers.
Those seminal works of men to the works of Frida Kahlo, undoubtedly the most famous and celebrated female artist in history.
Frida Kahlo. I've heard of this woman. Have you heard of this woman, Nick?
No, never have.
Okay, so this female artist. Well, John, what was she? Was she South American? Central American?
Maybe Mexican or some kind of Hispanic, yeah.
Mexican, maybe, yeah. Again,
she looks familiar. I've seen her picture before. I think maybe Google was shoving it down my throat one day.
Absolutely would. It probably was last Thursday.
I first learned about her through one of the textbooks we use to teach at PUC.
Oh, yeah. What did they say?
Oh, it was just a lesson about her. It wasn't a very long thing, just a short paragraph just describing her life. And they didn't get into too much of her more risque paintings. You know, I had to Google her to find that out. I was a little bit curious, so I Googled her and saw some of her more bizarre and more risque paintings. But they didn't get too much into the risque stuff in the article in the textbook. That was a while ago when I read that.
Okay. Well,
you got some construction going on there, Hardy?
all the fucking time.
Dear Lord, I hear horns beeping, fucking tuk-tuks going.
It's quiet today compared to the way it was. It was just fucking horrible. They were drilling like right adjacent to my wall. It sounded like they were right in my fucking room. You know, it was terrible.
Hey, did you see Vention? Did you see Vention only lasted 5 days?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was funny.
And I've lasted over 20 years.
I know, it's wild.
Well, you got to get over that. You got to get over that 5-day hump first.
Oh, the first week is always, it's like storming the beaches at Normandy, you know?
Yeah, right.
Well, mind you, I was in through Thailand before I came to Cambodia. I made a very soft entry. My first Thailand experience was not Bangkok, it was Phuket. And Phuket, back in those days, was absolutely beautiful. I mean, it was a paradise. And I stayed in a nice hotel and everything. Then after a couple of weeks in Phuket, then I went to Bangkok, which was not quite as nice. And then after a few years in Bangkok, then I went to Sihanoukville, which of course is a lot nicer than Phnom Penh, especially back in those days. So I kind of entered into Cambodia very, very slide.
No, that's good. Were you?
In a way, I'm kind of like a proverbial frog in the boiling water too, right? You know, things are just getting worse and worse and worse, and because it's kind of gradual, I'm not realizing how bad things are.
Where were you, John? John, where were
Hello?
you? Yeah, John.
Yeah,
where...
Ayam, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
lost Ayam, I guess.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Oh, there you are.
Your voice
Very
is
good.
kind of breaking up.
Everybody's is. Yours is too. So it might be my connection.
Huh.
Can you guys hear me now?
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I can hear you now, yeah.
Oh, hey, John, I wanted to ask you something. Where were you on December 25th, 2004?
I was in Sihanoukville. I don't remember. I don't know about that exact day. I usually treat Christmas as just a regular day, but in 2004, I was in Sihanoukville.
Because that was
sure,
the tsunami. That was when the tsunami happened.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I was, yeah.
He was nowhere near it. Ayam, you know, my neighbor in Cambodia, he was one of the cleanup people for Kaolack. I don't know if you're familiar what areas got hit, but about 160 kilometers north of Phuket is Kaolack, and he did the cleanup there. And he told me that a few of his friends had PTSD after cleaning up the bodies and stuff, and never left that. They like live in like a monastery or some shit, like going crazy.
Really, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was nasty. That was real nasty. Sorry, we're breaking into expatriate stuff here, but that was absolutely. I missed it because I was in Holland. I left Indo.
Wow, you got lucky.
I know. I just left. Like, I think I left. Oh,
Did your area get hit though?
No. It was all in Sumatra, in the north.
Just the
Sumatra.
earthquake by you, right?
Yeah, it was North Sumatra that got hit. North Sumatra was the worst. Aceh. It leveled. Yeah. There was nothing left.
Did you ever visit that place?
No, I never went to Aceh, but I knew British guys. Okay, I knew this one British guy. I worked with this British guy who had a friend that was married to a woman from Aceh. Okay? When the tsunami hit, and I didn't find out about this till I came back to Indonesia in 2005, when the tsunami hit, every single member of his wife's family died. And I don't just mean dad, mom, and brothers and sisters. I mean every fucking member of her family died. Like, and you understand how, these people have large families. I'm talking cousins, uncles, grandpas, every one of them died. Could you imagine that shit? Hello?
Yeah, that's pretty terrible, man.
Yeah. fucked up shit. But anyway, yeah. So you missed.
You know, it changed Earth. You do know it changed Earth's time. It sped up Earth. That earthquake.
It changed its time. What do you mean?
Yeah, it made the Earth's speed up. I think by a very low amount, but it was able to speed up Earth's rotation.
Interesting. Yeah, it was pretty crazy, man. All right, now let's.
And these people want to believe in climate change. Like I know an earthquake isn't climate and everything, but look what Mother Nature did. Like just burped, and it killed 400,000 people. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I want to go back to that video quickly. What was the name of that Mexican artist again, John?
Frida Kahlo. That's Frieda, and then her last name, I believe, is spelled Khalo.
Okay, Frida Kahlo. So anyway,
yes,
the Coltane goes into the art, talking about how men's subject of art.
That construction is loud.
Yeah, how the subject of art for men is the observable world. They created masterpieces, and the most celebrated female artist, he says, is this Frida Kahlo. All right, now I'm just going to go off his word. I don't know female artists. But every single composition she ever made was of herself. Every fucking one. It was of herself. Like, what the fuck, man? What do we call that?
A nobody. Like she's a nobody on the grand scheme of things. Again, first woman to do something.
Every single piece, every single composition was of herself. Good artist. I mean, I don't really have an eye for art, but I mean, if I looked at her painting, I'd say that looks very professional, looks very good, right? But it's her, every single one, man.
Yep, she is just the Wait, now how did we find this person? Because of the YouTube video, right?
Yes. I'd heard of her before briefly in some, like you, it was probably Google shoved it down my throat or something, for sure. But it's just fascinating.
Yeah, I've seen the picture. I've definitely seen the picture.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to go.
Well, you want to talk about how far this agenda goes. My brother started playing this Xbox game, a World War One Xbox game. Okay, on the cover of the. Can you hear me?
Okay, go again. I lost you. Hello?
Oh yeah. So I was talking about there's a World War One game on Xbox. My brother started playing, and on this game, the cover of the box is a black man holding a gun. There was no blacks fighting in World War One.
At least it wasn't.
And my brother looks at it. He goes, "Yeah, I know. Can you believe this shit?" I go, "This is pure propaganda. There was no. That's the star of the video. The World War One video game is a black guy. Hello, like you're just rewriting history that makes no sense." Yeah. And then, again, who's playing Xbox? People that really aren't that bright, All they do is just drown out and play video games. So the little snippets of information they get from the outside world, that's what they think the world is around them. Oh, World War One, black guy. Oh, there might have been. No, there weren't. Like, come on.
Well, if the powers that be have their way, then my son's children will think women were on the front lines of World War One.
Maybe.
Like it's fucked up, man.
I see that with Vietnam. I get Vietnam news feeds, and every other one as of the last year has been something about women's involvement in the Vietnam War. It's just fiction, pure fiction.
I know. Now I want to get to the last part of this video, and then we'll move on. Basically, the conclusion of this video, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, the conclusion of this video that Coltane did is absolutely brilliant. It's very powerful and it's very amazing, and I think you should all watch it. Now, John, what were you saying again before we started the chat? The different take that Coltane had on it?
Oh, yeah. Like, normally the way that the women's groups try to characterize women's involvement in history is that women have always been barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, and now they want to have the same rights as men and do everything that men can do. But I mean, Coltrane isn't really disagreeing with that. He's just saying it in a different way. He's like taking a different perspective. He's like saying women haven't contributed anything. Like, it's time to start pulling your weight. Men have done everything. So instead of like women haven't been allowed to do everything, he's saying, why haven't you done everything? Like, it's time to start pulling your weight. Why aren't you pulling your weight?
Yes.
Which goes back to kind of what I was saying, although he didn't exactly say it this way, but why didn't women invent the airplane? Why didn't women invent medicine? Why didn't women do all these things? And then they had a chance to exclude men like the way we are supposedly excluding them, right?
Yep.
They had a chance to make this grand conspiracy to keep down men instead of the other way around. Why didn't they do it?
Yeah, exactly. And Coltrane also argues too within the video. I don't remember which section now, but maybe in his conclusion, that there is nothing stopping a woman. Mm-hmm. And he makes a comparison by showing that the standards for like Australian Health Organization, where the standards say if in labor you shouldn't have to pick up more than this amount of weight without help, right? So there's these labor standards for physical labor jobs where there's a certain weight set that says if after this amount of weight you shouldn't be forced to have to pick it up on your own. You should be assisted with a machine or other people. All right, and the amount of weight that it is like basically the weight of an infant. Okay, so even based on the working standards in Australia, if a woman can pick up a fucking infant and put it in a car seat, she can lay a brick. Right?
Right.
So why aren't they?
Yeah.
So there's nothing stopping them. And there's absolutely nothing stopping them from become a bricklayer. Put in your 2 cents.
No, because their vagina is worth more than a bricklayer, right? And that goes across the board for most females. Mm-hmm. So there goes. Hypergamy floats.
Hypergamy floats, my friend. They don't. And okay, I'm just going to play this last little section, and then we'll be done with this. Hold on.
Quote, almost 40 years after women's entry into the labour market, there remains a surprisingly large difference in how much women and men contribute economically to the welfare state. As the welfare society has collapsed today, women are a deficit business measured throughout their lives, while men pay more to the social fund than they get out of it.
Okay. This is where he's saying women are a deficit shop. In other words, the welfare system is busted, and this is in Denmark they're talking. It's busted, and women are taking out the lion's share of the welfare state and putting less than what they get out, much less.
Well, not only that is that women are also taking up positions that are just imagination, fiction.
Yeah.
I'm a graphic designer, assistant. Like, what? So you're getting paid to do absolutely nothing? Is that what you're telling me right now? So I work hot yoga. I'm a hot yoga instructor. I'm like, you're not contributing to the betterment of society being a hot yoga teacher, honey. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. So you're right. They're and I've got a little video I want to show later to you guys too that I stole off of Facebook. I think you'll like, and I think you'll be able to hear it and view it at the same time as me because it's part of the OBS program. Anyway, so the opposite of what I said was that men are putting in a lot more than they're getting out of the system. So this imbalance, which is measurable, observable, right? This imbalance is destroying countries. Okay, this is what he's saying. So in a system of welfare, because 50% of the population is women, and that 50% is actually taking out way more than they're putting in, the welfare system is breaking down and collapsing. It doesn't function. Okay? So, what is Nick and John, what is the far right, what's the far right's argument about what's destroying the welfare system. What's their argument? The far right. In America, let's say.
Usually immigrants,
Yes.
and again, single moms.
Well, they don't. The far right doesn't say single moms. They do say immigrants, right? But even if they do mention single moms, they'll never say that it's the entire population of fucking women.
Well, even before you address the feminist issue, I think you have to address the immigration issue.
Okay, sure.
You know, the two kind of correlate with one another. I understand that feminists are out there in sanctuary cities and sleeping with migrants in France. I get that, right?
Yeah,
we get that. But as a guy, as like more of a more of a just this is my land. I'm over here. I'm even if I'm shouldering the women and stuff, you have to address the immigration problem way before the feminist problem.
Okay, fair enough.
I kind of disagree with that. I think that the feminist problem is actually more fundamental because...
but the feminist problem, that's a long... To undo all that is not going to be an overnight thing. An immigration thing can be an overnight thing to stop.
Maybe immigration is more urgent, but I don't know if it's more important. That quadrant thing where you got urgent, important...
I agree with you. I agree.
But, when you have a fracture between the most fundamental unit of society, the family, I compare that to like a physical object. Like if you take a piece of wood and you split it down the middle, you still got two pieces of wood. But if you actually take apart the molecules of the wood, it's no longer wood anymore. And I think the family unit is like molecules or atoms, whereas, different ethnic communities, they're more like pieces of wood. We don't need to have immigrants. We don't have to get along with immigrants. We can be a monoracial society. I don't know if people think that's a good idea or a bad idea, but it can be done. Or you could have
It has been done. I mean, look at the history of immigration in the United States. In 100 years prior, when the immigrants were coming over from Ireland, etc., from Europe, the Russians, the Irish, they all still have their own little section of New York, don't they?
Yeah.
But they're being displayed. But they're all being brainwashed with Americanism. Again, it's the glam. It's the champagne on the beach, Instagram, and what she eats. I mean, that's what your culture's turned into. Yeah, there's apple pie and hamburgers, and you get drunk on 4th of July, but, it's kind of it's meaningless at this point.
Yeah.
But having men and women at each other's throats, that's really causing a real serious downward.
That's the media. You'd have to undo the problems with the media first.
Yeah, well, despite that, you'll never hear the conservatives, and the conservatives are hell-bent on trying to take down the Democrats, right? But you'll never hear them say...
Oh, that's just a dog and pony show.
Yeah, it's a dog and pony show. But you'll never hear them say, hey, maybe we should make women work more so that we can balance out this welfare state we've created. It'll never happen.
Tradcons are just, the leftists and the rightists, the liberals and the tradcons, they're just two different sides of the gynocentric coin. And I think it was Turd Flinging Monkey or one of those guys that pointed that out. The gynocentrism is a two-sided coin of which you've got your left side and your right side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this ties right into Peterson. He's on the coin. He's still flipping the coin.
Yeah. Peterson is he is conservative to a degree. I think he calls himself libertarianist, doesn't he?
I believe so. He's definitely more in favor of like small government stuff, obviously.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard him actually say it on one of the videos they have of him. But anyway, yeah, you're right. It does kind of tie into that, and I want to get into Peterson actually. Let me just quickly look through the chats here.
Well, could I make one more observation about women in history before we move on to Peterson?
Yeah, no, we can keep going. Yeah, whatever.
Absolutely, man.
When you think about history and historical figures, you can divide them into two broad categories. And this is just my own thoughts. I didn't read this anywhere or anything. But, historical figures can be divided into two broad categories. You've got your people who contributed to civilization through intellectual pursuits. I'm thinking of people like, Socrates, Copernicus, Galileo, Sir Isaac Newton, Einstein, Shakespeare, Rembrandt, Da Vinci, all these people who work in the intellectual sphere. And then you've got your power figures. You've got your Julius Caesar, you've got your pharaohs, your Tutankhamons, and your Donald Trump, Kim Jong-il, King Henry VIII. And you've got a lot of women in that side too, the power side. So let's say there's the intellectual side and the power side, and you've got Catherine the Great, you've got Cleopatra, you've got Mary Queen of Scots, you've got Queen Boadicea. You've got a lot of women in the power side, and the reason I'm pointing this out is because I think that in history, women have been represented in the power side in a much greater proportion than in the intellectual contribution side. In other words, their contribution in terms of power is greater in proportion to what they have contributed in terms of intellectually. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
Well, pussy's powerful, man.
Yeah.
You stick a pussy on a throne, dear God. Oh, also, I forgot to mention in that Coltane video, he mentions how he basically destroys the myth of if women were in power, there'd be peace. And he goes into, he mentions historically how there were more, and this was a study was done, there were more wars committed by queens than kings. Which it doesn't surprise me. Why, who does that surprise in our community? In our MGTOW
Okay, wait, now, Ayam, here's something I actually wanted to talk to you about. Queen Elizabeth, though. Queen Elizabeth is one, regarded probably the end-all, the be-all, number one woman of all time in all of history. I would definitely say that. Queen Elizabeth certainly is. And the big difference with Queen Elizabeth is...
Hold on. So hold that thought. Rusky's leaving. Thanks for coming into the chat. See you later, buddy. Anyway, sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
All right. So Queen Elizabeth, would you agree with me that you think she's probably the most famous woman of all time?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. What separates Queen Elizabeth from almost every other single woman that was in power, or women as a whole, for that matter?
I don't know. She's a lizard person.
No, she was a virgin.
Oh, she was a virgin. Really? I didn't know that.
The state of Virginia is named after Queen Elizabeth's virginity in her honor.
How do we know she was a virgin, though?
That's a good point. Okay, you're being subjective and shit, but I would go with the history books. I think she was adamant. She was passionate about being a virgin too.
Right. Okay.
Sure. Did anybody check?
I don't know.
What?
If she was a virgin.
You can look it up. She was the state of Virginia is named after her. I know that because she was a virgin.
Regina.
So the point I'm trying to make, though, is that when women don't have sex, and the less men she has sex with, her ability to critically think is a little bit better. Or she's a little bit more grounded in reality because she doesn't have cock in her face and telling her that she's number one.
So basically, thoughts are like chimpanzee level.
Right. Well, it cuts her the emotion out of her critical thinking. I mean, she didn't stay to the throne for that long. Having getting screwed every night, and again having children, because having children changes the ball game.
Absolutely, yeah. I actually,
the way of looking at it.
I that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, it does make a lot of sense to me. That a woman.
It's a theory.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, Coltane just mentioned how, most of the warring nations in the past were done when a queen was on the throne and not a king. Okay, but I would also add that often men in very powerful positions generally have a pussy right behind them that sort of got them by the nose.
Multiple or hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Some cases.
It'll be a cold. I'd like to find evidence of a leader who was actually MGTOW. Good luck with that. But anyway.
Well, the guy who started the Tapian Rebellion in China, I mean, he had an army. I mean, between 40 and 60 million Chinese people died when he started an insurrection in China. And his like small little hermit kingdom that lasted for 15 years fell apart because all he was doing all day long was just banging bitches.
God damn. Yep.
Think about that. So he had the world by the balls. He thought he was God. Actually, He thought he was Jesus's Chinese brother. That's what he told the peasant Chinese people. I'm the brother of Jesus Christ. And he started a peasant rebellion and almost overthrew the emperor of China. And this was during the peak of when the Chinese were hooked on opium. That's why he was able to get so far. Okay, he was able to, to take a huge chunk of China because everyone was stoned all the time. So that's something to really think about. When your nation's really weak like that, you can really start some serious problems.
What was this guy's name?
Oh, not Yao Wing. I don't know how to pronounce it, to be honest with you, but I'll send it to you. Just look up the is it the Boxer Rebellion, China?
Oh, okay.
So it's just a little side note of history about when what can happen.
That is interesting. So God Himself, or as He claimed to be,
Jesus' brother,
Jesus' brother fell victim to the thought.
To the pussy.
Yeah.
Too much of something is a bad thing, like you've always said. You gotta, you don't indulge in vices. Moderation
for sure. That's the human condition, my friend.
And moderation, that's right. That's what you say, moderation.
So I'm gonna, I want to share.
So speaking of Jordan Peterson, let's get into him.
Okay, we're gonna get into him in 1 second. I just want to share this video with the viewers. Okay, this first video. I ripped it off of YouTube, or not YouTube. I think it was on Facebook, and it's a video. Speaking of Chinese, it's a video. And Nick, put on our stream so you can watch it. You don't need the volume. And it's a video of these disabled Chinese men laying brick, man. Okay. Hold on a second, I'm going to put it on. Here we go. It's got this very inspirational Chinese music behind it. Can you see it?
Yeah. There you go, yep.
I don't see anything. Am I supposed to see it?
Yeah, I see it now. It's a bit slow.
Guy's got no arm.
What's spinning? Can you hear me?
Yeah. This guy's got one leg. He's carrying concrete.
He's still laying brick. What a champ. You want to talk about disposability as a male? This is the definition. Disposable male 101.
Wait, the best part is at the end. Okay, here's a one-armed man with a shovel. Shoveling cement. But the best is the end. Wait till the end. This guy. A man with no arms is raking. He has no arms and he's raking.
I found a video on YouTube that I'm watching. It might be the same one. The guy with one leg pushing a wheelbarrow.
Yeah. Unbelievable. The best is the end. The guy's got no arms. Not one arm, no arms. And he's raking. What the fuck?
Show that to a feminist next time they outlaw.
It's like, so again, as we mentioned before, why aren't women laying brick? Nothing's stopping them.
Or if they just step on a landmine and lay brick for the rest of their life.
Unbelievable, man. It's like women are like, we need to be respected more, and society must respect us, and we need to get paid more. Well, fucking, there's a brick, there's some mortar. Get to work.
Yeah, notice how there was no females in the video.
No, of course not.
All right, but wait now, Hardy, you know and I know that the women in Cambodia are construction workers, and the men just sit around all day long.
Well, men do construction work too, but you're right. The guys do tend to be lazier in Cambodia. Cambodia is kind of a special case, though.
Indonesia is very similar. Very similar. Men. Men, well, the thing is men can afford to be lazier there because it's much more patriarchal. Like a man can kind of, especially Bali. Bali's the worst. Java's not so much, but Bali, men will just sit on their ass while women do everything.
Vietnam, I thought, was by far the worst I've seen.
Oh, really? Bali's pretty bad.
They're just the men are just wasted on rice vodka or rice wine and shit, and just gamble and just lay around all day in the hot sun.
Yeah. It's like Bali. Very similar to Bali.
To think that Vietnam beat France, beat America, invaded Cambodia, and beat the Chinese all in a span of 30 years.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's pretty remarkable.
So I want to just do one more of those little videos. So make sure you got the stream on. And this is a contrast. Okay, so we just saw some Chinese men. We just saw a Chinese man with no arms raking gravel. Okay, we just saw that. Now I'm going to show you another video that I pulled off of Facebook. And it doesn't say this, it's not captioned, but the guy that posted it wrote this.
You there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Your connection's cutting in and out.
Hello. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Today I'm having.
It's cutting in and out. Yeah, we hear you, but it's breaking up.
Okay, yeah, I'm hearing you guys break up too, so I don't know what the fuck.
All right.
Okay, what about now? Are we all right? No.
Yeah, I'm good now.
Okay, so I'm going to show this video now that was captioned when I pulled it off. You won't see it, but what it said was, leave it to a woman to make a living out of being useless. Okay? So just remember that caption as you watch this, all right? Here we go. Leave it to a woman to make a living out of being useless. Here we go.
Many people get angry, very angry. Why did I do this to them? I don't know. My name is Katerina Kadrani. I am an architect, and I have a project called The Uncomfortable. I think that the uncomfortable for me is just like a rebellious act. That basically whatever I learned in design school, I went exactly the opposite. I make people work harder for the objects they use every day. In order to create an uncomfortable object, I go through many ideas, a lot of sketches, and then I choose one that makes me laugh out loud or surprises me. Let's say like a pot. You've never thought that there could be a pot like that has the two handles on one side, and you know that's like a very important aspect of pot design. So I think with my series, although I do it for fun, I think it's also.
Oh my god, this really is like not a job.
The watering can is my favorite because I think it has
like she can't even throw like sign language, like make it like that. You know, you actually contribute to something.
Like you can appreciate the objects that we use every day.
What's the video showing?
Things are important to have, but they're also important to be able to break.
Okay. All right. So. Putting on the Chinese again there. Where is that? Okay, so
you can see the video, but
you need to turn on the stream and watch it through on YouTube because as I play it live.
She literally did absolutely nothing. She is a waste of human cells.
She basically made a video about how she's a designer. She went to design school, but instead of like making functioning usable tools for people, she makes things that are unfunctionable and useless. As sort of a form of art, I guess. So, for example, she made a pot with the handles on one side. Like it's fucking. This is the contrast I wanted to show compared to a bunch of Chinese people, Chinese men without limbs building a house, maybe for that woman, right? Meanwhile, she must be. I don't know how she makes a living off of that. Obviously, it's like.
So she pretty much is breaking. So let's on. Wait. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a delay. Sorry about that. I was going to say that. So her form of art is breaking stuff. Is that what I'm getting at? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, she takes functioning devices and makes them useless.
Right, so she's breaking shit, like our society, like our country.
Yes, man. It's a wonderful sort of analogy or metaphor for just the female condition. It's incredible.
Retard. That woman's she's retarded. And like I said, anybody who's listening out there, maybe next week or maybe the following week, it's up to AM. I got pure decadence coming up for everybody. I got Bumble and Tinder profiles. I'm going to show you the decay that one man sees in the world. But yeah, this girl's a prime example of it, 100%.
And the stuff that Nick is going to show us maybe in the next week or the following week, these are the women that Jordan Peterson does not understand. Right?
Right. Thank you. You took the words out of my mouth, man. Thank you for saying that.
These are the women that Jordan Peterson isn't going around and surveying.
Ignores. He deliberately ignores it. I don't know if anyone else picks up on that, but he deliberately goes right around that. And that goes back to my live stream with Molyneux, that he does not understand. These guys are baby boomers. Times were good back then for them. When was the last time these guys actually talked to a 25-year-old white girl from New York City? When?
Exactly.
When was the last time one of these guys got a good blowjob from a 25-year-old?
Exactly. Yeah. We don't have to get that far. How about just pay attention to me? Acknowledge my presence instead of fucking bumping into me on a sidewalk.
Yeah.
You want to listen? Speaking of bumping into people into the sidewalks, you want to test how bad our society is crumbling? Walk straight on a sidewalk and see how many people yield to you for a change, and that'll tell you how fucked up this country is.
Oh yeah. Well, did you hear about the social experiment by some feminist who decided?
Yeah, but it was all black dudes and Hispanics hollering at her. There was no white guys.
Not that. There's another one where a woman decided what she was going to do was walk down a busy New York City sidewalk, but not move out of the way of anybody. Just walk straight. And she was trying to prove the point that men don't move. So,
they don't move. What, are you kidding me?
That's my point. Is like her experiment to prove that men won't get out of the way is to not get out of the way of anybody. Like, what the fuck? Unbelievable.
Well, you just listen. Hit them like an NFL linebacker when it happens. When you see her coming, dude, boom! I'm sorry. Were you there, sweetheart? Oh, and don't apologize.
No.
You say, watch where you're going, dumb bitch.
I'm walking here.
I'm walking over here. This is Donald fucking J sidewalk. Gotta love it.
All right, before I want to get into Peterson, so I'm going to, you guys, I sent you the link to that Jordan Peterson video by Paul Elam, that Ear for Men. You remember the one you sent me, Nick?
Yeah, that was good.
Jordan Peterson steps in at MGTOW. Cue that up. Get that up on your thing there. I'm going to watch it from about 14 minutes and 12 seconds and show it to the audience, because this is the point. This is where Peterson lost respect of the MGTOW community, right here. I saw the original video, but this is just Paul Elam commenting on it. And I'm glad that it's the Paul Elam commenting version, because I have something to say about that. So I'm going to share the screen again. You guys got the video? John, do you have it?
Yes, I have the link in the comments section. I have it there, yeah.
Okay, just get it queued up to about 14:12. You can watch it along with me. I'm going to watch like the last minute of it. And you just mute when you watch, and then I'll come back and we'll discuss it, okay? All right, so this is the video. Jordan Peterson steps in at MGTOW. At the very end of here, I'll play it now.
No, it's not all men. You can be sure, by definition, and it's not all women, that's for sure. I don't want to have anything to do with women. It's like you're a pathetic weasel.
Dr. Peterson, with all respect, I suggest you reevaluate your position here, your statements, your ideas, and your claims.
Okay. Now, I just played like a 30-second clip of that at about the 14-minute mark, okay? And there's more to it than that. And if you guys want to watch it, if you haven't seen it already, go ahead. But Peterson basically says these MGTOW communities where these miserable, failed men are trying to teach younger men to never have relationships with women, they're pathetic weasels. Okay? That was his comment. Now, I mean, is this kind of, Nick, when you saw this, is that that's kind of what you meant by it, like what he was calling MGTOW out as, right?
Right. Again, he doesn't know what he really doesn't know what he's talking about, and either he doesn't know what he's talking about or he deliberately ignores that problem.
Well, now I think he's not. If he was ignoring it at the time, he's not ignoring it anymore because he did come forward about a week after he made those statements became public, and I don't know if he might have seen Paul Elam, this criticism by Paul Elam, but it wasn't just Paul Elam that hit him for this. There was a lot of guys that mentioned it. I think a lot of people I knew mentioned it too. But about a week after those comments became public, he did say, there was an interview. I remember seeing the interview. He said, the interviewer said, is there anything you regret, or what's the thing you regret the most that you might have said in the last, since this explosion of your popularity has come up? So basically saying, like, trying to pin the guy and say, like, okay, like, what have you said that, nobody likes what you say, but what's the one thing you regret the most? His answer, he thought for a moment, he pondered, and his answer was, I regret the things I said about MGTOW. Okay? So he got hit hard with that. He couldn't. It wasn't a statement he could just let disappear into the internet wind. But he got hit hard. And the one thing I want to mention about this is that Paul Elam was Peterson 4 years ago. Do you know what I mean by that?
No, go explain.
Paul Elam was saying the exact same things that Peterson said in that lecture about MGTOW 4 years ago. The exact same things. He was calling MGTOW pathetic weasels. He was shitting on MGTOW. And this guy's a men's rights activist. All right? This guy activates for men. So I found it very ironic that Elam made that video because he was saying the exact same fucking things for about 4 years ago. So take with that what you get.
Well, okay, great. He's telling it's a men's fault for the reasons that, and he's blaming men, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's the crux of why I can't stand that statement, because what are you suggesting? You get in the trenches, he will never dirty his trench coat, man, No. He'll never dirty his boots, The same thing goes for Molyneux, same thing goes for a lot of these social conservatives.
Yeah, Ergo Sum says in the chats too, Elam called many MGTOW pigs. There was a huge thing. I mean, I had a row with Elam. Like I had a row with him back and forth about MGTOW. Like he was an absolute cunt about it. And this was about 4 years ago. But he's changed his tune. Now he's praising MGTOW.
I'll give him credit that he's actually out in the streets.
Yeah.
I mean, I give the guy credit for what he's trying to do, but that's not how it's going to work.
Who? Peterson?
No, Elam.
Yeah, well, Elam's changed his tune, and it's funny because this was an interesting comment. When you sent me that video earlier today, I was laying down and watching it, and my son came into the room and he just laid down with me and he was kind of watching the video with me. And he was listening, and he said, "Who is that guy?" And I said, "Oh, it's Paul Elam." And he goes, "Oh," and then I kind of just told him the story. Yeah, that guy used to not like the kind of stuff that I make, the content I make, and he used to call it down and stuff. And I said, "But now he's changed, Now he's not." And my son goes, "Oh," and my son goes, "Did he apologize?" And I thought about it for a second. I said, no, of course he didn't, because nobody really expected one. But people like Peterson, too, they're in this position where either they're just ignoring it or they just have no clue based on their experience. But when they finally do get bit and they understand it, yeah, they change their tune very quickly. Very, very quickly.
Well, what we also need to acknowledge, though, is Peterson's rise to fame, because I found out about him maybe a year and a half ago. All right, and I subscribed to him when he had only about 100,000 subscriptions. He's now over 800,000.
Oh yeah,
and that's in a year and a half. Molyneux has what, 500, 600,000, and it's took him 10 years. Let's put this into perspective on how big Peterson's popularity is right now. So the bigger question now is he the anointed one for Canada?
Well, here,
seriously.
Yeah. Well, you remember you do remember the interview that really boosted his fame was that British television Channel 4 interview, right? Where he just tooled that woman. What's that?
With Kathy Newman.
Kathy Newman, yes.
So what you're saying is something you're not saying.
Yes. So what you're saying is that you hate all women. That sums up how the interview went. And he just destroyed this woman, and she became a laughingstock, right? But in that interview, she mentioned how he has become sort of a hero figure for young boys. Okay. So the narrative now in the Western media is that masculinity is toxic. Young boys shoot schools, and so now, Peterson, you are their messenger, right? So that's the position that the media has pushed Peterson into.
Right, and he fights back, which is great, unlike anybody else.
Yes, he does fight back. He's great because he stands his ground. He absolutely.
So do you see him going for politics? Now, here's the bigger question. Now, when he was in New York City, he was questioned about Solzhenitsyn's book about the Holodomor, where it was a Christian genocide in the Ukraine, and a student asked him a question: do you blame Jews for what happened in the Ukraine in the 1930s? And he refused to answer the question.
Oh, really? Eh? So
yes.
Yeah, everybody's got an Achilles heel, man. Everybody's got an Achilles heel.
Right. So he didn't want to touch it, and that says a lot right there.
Yeah.
You know what he said? He says, "I'm not going to do it."
Yeah.
He thought about it. He cringed his face when the person asked.
Yeah.
And he thought for at least, I think, maybe between 5 and 10 seconds. He says, "Nope, can't do it."
Absolutely. Mr. Dudes Production, have a good night. Thanks for coming in to the talk. Really appreciate it. You know where we'll be next week as well. So anyway.
So there's third rails that many people don't touch.
Yeah, absolutely. You know who has power over you by who you're not allowed to criticize. There's a hierarchy of that.
Absolutely.
One thing to understand about Peterson and his attitude toward MGTOW and everything is that he's really big. One of his main themes is about sacrifice, and it really comes out like when
being disposable. Yeah, he's pro-disposable male.
Yeah, when he talks about Cain and Abel and all that, and he's all on about you got to make sacrifices, and you got to make the right kind of sacrifices and everything. Oh, really?
Well, this is the thing. Peterson is filling a vacuum, and I agree with this concept. He's filling a vacuum, and that vacuum is young men don't have father figures, and they don't have male heroes. They don't have masculine heroes to look up to anymore. So Peterson is...
And these are the guys that are... These are the guys listening to his message about sacrifice.
Yes.
His message about sacrifice, it seems to be aimed at men, not at women.
Yes.
Right, yeah, we can, yep. He focuses strictly on men. He doesn't want to touch the feminist narrative. He talks about feminism, obviously, but he doesn't talk about the ways of correcting it, and again, blaming guys for not correcting it.
And the interesting thing, too, is his claim to fame isn't about trying to help men or trying to downplay feminism. His claim to fame is, I'm not going to use your fucking totalitarian gender pronouns. Go fuck yourself.
Right.
That's it. So he's sort of like fell into this spot, and it's interesting because he filled a vacuum accidentally, and I think we all knew the vacuum was there.
It's organic. It's great. It's a great thing. So the key now is making sure he doesn't get corrupted, and we'll be able to tell, sure enough, if he starts spewing certain narratives that there's been a bigger hand at play.
Well, even if he even up till now, he like I said, like we've already mentioned, he's lining men up for the slaughter again. All right, he'd be very happy to say, go to war.
I'll fall behind him. I would 100% fall behind him.
Yeah,
100%.
But this is the thing. I don't want young men to confuse him as some kind of hero of masculinity, because he's not. He's
right now he is. You got any other suggestions, man?
Well, no, I don't actually.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I know where you're coming
what
from.
Molyneux? That guy sniffs his own farts in a closet.
He probably does. He probably has jars full of them.
Look,
somewhere.
Peterson is Peterson is everything Molyneux wishes he was.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. So
the thing about
Molyneux just keeps going. All the different jobs he had his entire life, right?
Yes.
Software developer.
He's done everything.
He cut keys while a child. Oh my God!
He's done
so
everything.
Full of himself.
Yeah.
Molyneux's got thousands of videos, or he must have thousands of videos and podcasts. But if you listen to like 4 or 5 or maybe half a dozen of them, they start getting old as soon as he's kind of repeats himself the same themes over and over and over.
Because listen, Hardy, the reason why is because he spends all day just fucking talking. He doesn't take the time to actually learn something.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So there's only so much you can learn when all you're doing is, spewing horse shit through the fucking airwaves, day in and day out,
Yeah. Well, well, okay. Now we're on a Molyneux hate train, but the guy does fucking know. He's done everything. It's incredible. Like, you listen to his, no matter who his guest, he's like, "Oh yes, I remember when I did what you did."
Yeah, right. When I was on the battlefields of Okinawa.
I remember my time in the military. I've taken a few lives.
Hey, but you know what? He doesn't do anything. Think about his job. You want to talk about fucking useless? All he does is spew a fucking certain narrative that a blue-collar, middle-class white guy would say, and he just adds statistics to it. That's all he does.
Yeah. Well, Cabin Boy makes a comment here. What was it a man's idea for daylight savings? I believe it was. I actually believe it was.
You know where the 9 to 5 work week and 9 to 5 work week comes from?
Where?
Nazi Germany.
Oh, perfect. Hitler. Thanks, Hitler.
And then you get the week off or 2 weeks off vacation.
Yeah.
It's great. But yeah, the question is I like Peterson overall. I think he's done a great job. I bought books because of him,
Yes, I want to get that book that he mentions. Actually, there's another video I'm going to share with the viewers, and it is to junior high school students and their parents. This is fucking terrifying. If you want to talk,
go tell us about it. Tell people.
Okay, so it's a very long video. It's over an hour, but I just want to again. This is one of the reasons I love Peterson. Okay, he's very thoughtful and articulate about any message he gives across. Okay, so this video called "To Junior High School Students and Their Parents" is 90 minutes. Or it's not 90 minutes. Sorry, 60 minutes. It's about 60 minutes of lead up. Okay, to the point he's trying to make. So for the average fucking thought, you're not gonna have the attention span to watch this. But he gives these great examples, stuff that's already been told, and he leads up to the point of what he wants to say, which is, buckle in, because the shit that I'm going through in the universities and through the HR departments of universities and through the heads of universities, the shit I'm going through is coming to a school near you. Okay? And he first he explains what the message is. Okay? Then he explains he gives evidence to support his claim that it is coming to a school near you. And then the best part of all, he gives you ideas on how to fucking fight it. Okay? So it's spectacular. So I'm going to skip to the very end where he gives kind of his summary and the main points after he gives his evidences. All right. Maybe right around the 1 hour mark. Now it's about 12 minutes. I don't think we'll watch the whole thing, but so if you guys, John and Nick, do you guys want to cue it up to watch it?
Yeah, I want to watch it.
Okay, so I think I can do this better. I'm going to work on this program so that you guys won't have to queue it up. But anyway, this is how we'll have to do it for now. So I've sent the link in the Skype. So if you want to watch along too, Nick, I'm going to start it from 1 hour and 50 seconds. Just give me a second. Okay. All right, I'm going to start it now from 1 hour and 50 seconds, and we'll see how, and then I'll stop it and I'll interject.
Self-evidently and finally correct that it is proper and just to concentrate on inculcating them into children as early as kindergarten, regardless of what their parents or anyone else might want.
Okay, so just to kind of preface is what he just mentioned, because I kind of cut in the middle of his conversation, is all the evidence he's shown up to this point of basically they want to indoctrinate your children, but not just on the post-secondary level, which has already happened, okay? And it's frightening to me. And I don't know about you, Nick. Nick, when were you in post-secondary? Like what years?
Sorry, repeat that. I was watching the video.
Okay, sorry. When were you in post-secondary? Like in college or university? Like what years?
Oh, how old I was?
Yeah, like what years? What years?
2008 to 2011.
Okay. So my post-secondary years go back before the fucking millennium, right? So the shit that Peterson talks about and the stuff that we're seeing thrown at us through the media all the time that's happening in these schools, I did not see it.
Well, before you go any further, I want to make a statement. I did not experience any of this shit when I was in college. Okay. Quite the contrary. There was really no indoctrination. I did have liberal professors, but they were pretty cool about their arguments and stuff. There's none of this that's going on.
Yes, perfect. And so if we're to believe everything that Peterson's been through, and we've seen, you know, the talks he's done and the way people respond, there is something going on, and it might not be all universities, but there's definitely some hotspots for it. He's in Canada, I guess, is fucking horrible for
him. Yeah, it's there in New York. It is. I mean, not in New York. It is there in the States, but I'm telling you, the First Amendment really blocks a lot of it.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to continue here with the video.
I do not believe that this is a goal shared by even a majority of teachers, and many have written to me indicating their dissatisfaction. But a small, noisy, domineering, victimhood-claiming coterie of radically left-wing thinkers have commandeered the controls and are steering the ship where they want it to go, screaming bloody murder if anyone dares to question, or worse, oppose. Both the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, which operates at the provincial/state level, and the Toronto District School Board, which operates at the level of the city, have explicitly adopted a social justice program and an implemented curriculum.
Yes. So
yeah, were you asking a question?
No. But I want to interject here. So at an hour and a minute and 7 seconds in, he gives evidence of these school districts in Toronto that are even on their website saying social justice begins with me. They're not hiding it anymore. Okay. Inclusiveness in schools. I mean, look at this. It's insane. ETFO feed. Teaching with pride. Inclusive school place starts here. These are children, man.
Yeah, I think Sweden already has all this. So they're implementing what Sweden has as like a curriculum for students and stuff, and it's being pushed now into the North America. But there was a huge pushback a few years ago with Common Core, which was kind of like the Trojan horse for a lot of this type of stuff, and it was snuffed out in a lot of places in America.
Thank God for that. Now, okay,
yeah,
he's showing stuff from Ontario and Toronto, right? And that's the canary in the coal mine for the rest of Canada, basically Toronto and Vancouver. If it's getting pushed through Toronto, it'll eventually leak its way west. Now the good thing about Canada, where I'm living,
Right.
Outside of the center of Canada, from Alberta up into Saskatchewan and Manitoba,
Right,
is very conservative. Okay, very, very conservative. Even though right now my province is run with the New Democratic Party, which is very liberal, left-leaning. That's the first time in a long time that's happened, which is kind of frightening to me. But the point I'm making is that this shit is going to try and force its way into conservative Alberta, where I am now. And the reason why this stuff concerns me is because I have a son who's in junior high. So this video is a message to me, right? He wrote it in the title. This is a message to me. So I have not noticed any of it in my son's school, not yet. He's going to be taking, they're going to be teaching sexual education this month. So I'm going to get the curriculum from the school, because I just want to see for myself. Are they going to just teach straight up sex ed, or are they going to teach kids how?
Well, you have the right to go to the school, don't you? Have like meetings and stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so you might as well just start going to those.
I have gone to some of them. I've gone to some of them. I haven't been to one since kind of near the beginning of the school year. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to I just have to go into the school and say, I want your curriculum for sex ed. I want to know what you're teaching my kid in sex ed. Very simple.
Well, the other issue though is he's never going to open up to you. I know I never told my parents what went on in school. Never once. You know,
yeah,
they always ask at the dinner table. They ask questions. And I'm like, yeah, how was school? I'm like, you know. No. So it's kind of hard to get a straight answer from your kids.
Yeah, I can't rely on him to give me a straight answer. So I have to go there and actually ask to be shown the sexual education curriculum, what they're actually teaching. Now I have confidence that at this point it's not to where it is in Ontario or in Toronto, at least for what Justin Peters is showing.
It's on your sonar, though. It needs to be on your sonar as a parent.
Absolutely on my sonar. Okay, so I'm going to just let me just play that again for just a few minutes here. Hold on.
Based on its principles from kindergarten through grade 8, with similar programs operating in the remainder of junior high and high school. The ETFO...
Here, he's reading off this ETFO saying it's for kindergarten kids. Can you imagine teaching kindergarten kids this shit? I just can't see this flying. I can't see this taking hold. It's really hard for me to believe it would take hold.
Well, again, I hark back to what I was saying earlier, that the people that are in charge of the world right now, they're really ramping it up. Like there's been a speed up post-Trump.
Yeah, impatient.
Let's say, and a lot of people and a lot of Americans thought a lot of this stuff would go away with the election of Trump, when it has not.
No, it hasn't. You're right. Maybe it is. They're amping it up. Okay, I'm just going to play it again, maybe skip ahead here.
Elementary teachers, remember, is equity-oriented. This means equality of outcome, not equality of opportunity. And that is a radical left-wing, even Marxist goal. They describe their own organization as...
Peterson mentions that their Marxist goal, he calls it a Marxist goal, which I really like. He doesn't fucking pull punches. Their Marxist goal is equality of outcome. That's their Marxist goal, which I 100% agree with. Okay, I'm going to go skip ahead here now to the very end where he asks solutions. This is pretty incredible. It's pretty radical stuff he's saying.
Sorry to interrupt you guys, but I'm going to have to bow out of the conversation now. I got some stuff I have to do.
Okay.
But it's been a great one. Hopefully we'll get together again soon, maybe next week.
Sure, definitely we will. Thanks a lot, John.
Okay, see you, Nick.
Nick? You there, Nick? Did I lose you too? Hold on, guys. I lost the call. The call dropped for some reason. Son of a bitch! I lost the call. Hello.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry.
I lost you guys. Yeah, we got dropped. Okay, we're back. Have no fear, we're back. Me and Nick are back. John is gone.
Yeah, sorry. Give me 1 second, all right?
No problem.
Sorry, go on. I gotta walk into my house.
Hey, turn your camera off, man.
I'm sorry.
Oh, for fuck's sake. All right, guys.
Good?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there, it's good. All right, I'm going to play this Peterson solution. This is very interesting. It's very radical. Let's listen to it now.
I think the only real hope of forestalling further deterioration of the sort that would require, for example, large-scale exodus from the public school system, which I think is inevitable if present trends continue, is for the users of such systems, school children and young adults and their parents, to put a stop to its politicization. We have now reviewed evidence indicating widespread ideological corruption at the level of the...
Nick, what's that noise, man?
Continue is for the users of such systems.
Shouldn't be me.
Yeah, you're...
I'm good, right?
No, I'm hearing something coming out of you.
I think it's Kevin. Can you mute Kevin?
Is he still? I thought he was gone.
Kevin, hear us hang up.
Kevin, hang up, buddy. Okay, hold on. I gotta fucking get out of this. All right, we're having technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on a second here.
Oh, no. Control, and there's shit on screaming.
That'll be a way of muting him.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Look, hey, Nick, I'll tell you what. I'll call you in a different call, okay?
All right.
Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to call Nick again in a different call. I'll just wait for Nick to answer here.
All right.
Okay, we're good.
Anyway, sorry about that, everyone. That was...
All right, so I thought we had John in the call still, and he had something in the background. So, all right, I'm gonna do the last part of that Peterson thing. Here, give me 1 second. Share screen. All right, here we go.
The professoriate, administration, university department, university, and higher education systems in general, as well as a refusal to admit to that corruption and a proclivity to name-call, deride, shame, and protest when such issues are brought to light. Such corruption particularly, although not uniquely, typifies the faculties of education.
All right, so here he's basically talking about just the corruption of it from the top down, where it's not education anymore, it's indoctrination, and I think Peterson makes a strong claim of how the education system now, what their plan is to turn education into indoctrination. But I would like to say that I think public education has always kind of been indoctrination. I don't think that's really. It's just the indoctrination is just amped up to a different level. That's all.
Well, you do know where the North American the way we educate our young, the whole you take a lunch. It's like 6 to 2, and then there's every 45 minutes you change classes or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
That comes from Russia.
Soviet Russia?
No, Prussia.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's a Prussian education system.
Prussia. I did not know that.
Well, think about it, and that's the form of learning, and it's been like that for a long time. Like, how was it done? In the 18th century or the 17th century?
Right. Homeschooled, probably. Most likely.
Also, the illiteracy rate was much higher back then.
Yeah, very true. There's, I am not one to shit completely on public education.
No, I'm actually pretty okay with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty pro public education. However, the institution, like any other, can be corrupted, right?
Well, it's been corrupted because there's no community anymore. Again, we've been atomized, the individual, the family unit, so it's very hard to, when it's so atomized, it's easier and more susceptible to outside, influences,
Well, let me just read what's in front of me now on the Peterson video that he was just saying. Because of the corruption, because of this, the public education system has been politicized. And that politicization is broadening and deepening, presenting social danger in the form of the involuntary indoctrination of children and compromising the proper function of public education itself, which is the creation of autonomous, self-governing, free-thinking individuals. Okay, so is the function of public education to create autonomous, self-governing, free-thinking individuals? Is that what its purpose is?
I don't know, you tell me.
Well, I mean, that's what Peterson's arguing. So he's basically saying that this is the function of public education, but I mean, where is that written down, right? I mean, who's pushing
outside of Toronto?
Yeah, right. All right, so I'm gonna just skip a little bit further ahead here to. By the way, I want to get this book, The Gulag Archipelago. Have you got that?
Oh, I do. It's amazing. I've read a good chunk of it. I got it on audio. It's way better on audio.
Okay, I got to get that fucking book.
Really good on audio.
Okay, so anyway, here's the solutions. Let's just quickly summarize the solutions here. Okay, so here we go. Let me play it.
Videotape their actions and post it on YouTube.
Okay,
this means books are invaluable. One more proximally, locally, and one more distally. There's a book called Understanding Postmodernism by Stephen R. Hicks. The whole book provides a good introduction to the problem, but the first chapter in particular provides a solid overview. I think The Gulag Archipelago by Alexander Solzhenitsyn is also required reading for many reasons, not the least of which is his masterful analysis of the relationship between radical left-wing thinking and the absolute collapse into tyranny and catastrophe that characterized all such experiments in the course of the last 125 years.
Okay, so I just want to kind of quickly touch on that book, The Gulag Archipelago. You say you're in the process of reading it, right?
Oh, dude, it's unbelievable audio, man. The first chapter is absolutely outstanding. Oh my God.
Beautiful. Because so here Peterson's saying that it is a masterful analysis of the relationship between radical left-wing thinking and the absolute collapse into tyranny and catastrophe that characterized all such experiments in the course of the last 125 years. Look, historical evidence that what the left wing is pushing for now in places like Sweden and Canada, Western Europe and Australia, it doesn't work. Maybe that's one reason why they try to rewrite history, perhaps.
Well, there's been no need for communism in the Western because we've been so affluent. You know, when the communists first popped up in the United States, America was booming financially, and they were kind of just laughed at, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm going to just finish this off here with his solutions.
More directly, I think students should, with the backing of their parents, if possible, leave their junior high and high school classes if any of the following topics arise. This means they should stand up, note their objections to the content. This sounds like indoctrination to me rather than education.
You're asking
so
me
I'm
again?
leaving.
Okay, so Peterson says, I think students should, with the backing of their parents, if possible, leave their junior high and high school classes if any of the following topics arise. And he gets into the topics in a moment. So he's saying that if they start trying to bring up this shit in your high schools or your junior high schools, stand up, tell them that you think this is indoctrination and not education, and leave. Right? That's pretty radical, man. I mean, I'm trying to picture my own son doing that. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. It's hard for me to do.
But the bigger question is what is the state reaction going to be to it? Is that going to force the police to make sure that you're sending your kids to school? Again, this goes against my biggest complaint, which is the whole Blue Lives Matter nonsense.
Well, look, I don't even, honestly, I don't know the laws. Like, if I took my kid out of school today and said I'm going to teach him at home, like, could I get away with that? I don't know. Honestly.
No, they're going to start digging. They're going to start digging into everything you do.
Yeah.
That's what's going to. So your best way of countering it is by try to de-brainwash him when he gets out of school, I guess.
Well, yeah, you have to, and obviously that's really the only solution that I have. I have to teach him on my own and prepare him for what might be coming, and say, look, this shit is bullshit.
Teach him his own history. Yeah. Teach him teach him about his own country.
Yeah, absolutely.
Explain it to him where he comes from and stuff.
Yeah, and basically I have to teach him how to dance for the puppet masters and just get on with your life. Because, yeah, I mean, like I said, this Peterson here, I mean, okay, he's very influential. I mean, do you think that if these kind of radical ideas of indoctrination into secondary school,
if he's the anointed one, he's got to make a run for it really quick. He can't sit on it.
Well, yeah.
Strike while the iron's hot is what I'm saying. His iron's really hot right now. He should strike it.
I think that's what he's doing, and it'll be curious to see, because again, he's showing evidence of what's happening in Toronto specifically. So it's not a nationwide thing. But it's very popular. The media's pushing it.
Well, I'm in New York. I feel bad. What's going on in New York, where I'm from, is permeating throughout the rest of Western society. Not just North America.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let me just finish off this with him. Almost done.
And then leave. Perhaps they could encourage a classmate/friend to videotape their actions and post it on YouTube. It wouldn't take very many students performing such an act to produce a very powerful effect, and it is certain that many who won't have the courage to do so will agree secretly that such action was necessary. Here are the topics I regard as indicative of indoctrination rather.
Okay, so now he's just going to go into the topics. Basically, he's saying, if you see indoctrination, stand up, vocalize it, film it, put it on YouTube, walk out of your class. Right? Pretty radical. Now imagine, I'm just trying to imagine, like, 10 years in the future, a bunch of 17-year-old kids standing up and putting it on YouTube like, this is indoctrination, I'm walking out of the classroom. I don't know what kind of effect that would have, but it's very radical. So, are you still there, Nick?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. So, basically, these are the topics that he says, watch out for. If you hear these key words, all right? It's so funny because...
What are the key words? Go into the key words.
Okay, diversity.
Okay, good, yes.
Inclusivity.
Good, yep.
And equity. Those are the first three.
Okay.
Diversity, inclusivity, and equity. And and he says, conveniently, these words form the acronym DIE. Which is kind of ironic. All right? Now, those aren't the only ones, though. He goes into another one here. White privilege, systemic racism, and gender. Okay, so those are the 6 topics that it's amazing. It's like flashbacks of the Cold War.
These are all jokes. The beautiful thing is, and this is a big thing for the United States. You just mock and laugh at it. You just laugh at it and walk out like, yeah, okay, goodbye. No one really. I don't know that many people that take this stuff seriously.
Okay, yeah, and it's interesting because again, let me just diversity, inclusivity, equity, white privilege, systemic racism, and gender. These are the talking points you hear in these YouTube videos about what's going on campuses across North America. Okay, but obviously that
doesn't exist. It's fantasy world.
Yeah, it gives me flashbacks of, like, well, not really flashbacks because I was a child at the time, but the Cold War, or wasn't even born, but the Cold War and the communist scare. Like, is your neighbor a commie? Look for these 5 signs. It's incredible.
Look for the white man. Does he drive a nice car and have a nice house?
How to spot a commie.
How to spot a white man with money.
Yeah, how to spot white male privilege. Does he talk back to you? Does he let you finish your sentences?
Does he vote conservative?
Does he like Donald J. Trump?
Is he a misogynist?
If so, contact a police officer or teacher right away.
Hey, but Ayam, so I was talking about what I'm going to do in the next couple of weeks for the show. Some of the Tinder profiles and the Bumble profiles say love doggies, hate Trump. You have to swipe left. And it's usually her with a picture with like a wine bottle on a beach. No Trump supporters.
Right. If you support Trump,
I don't want to swipe left. I don't want bigotry in my life. I just want to party. You know, party, Ayam?
Oh, shit. Oh, Mr. Megalith X is here. Thank you for joining.
Welcome.
Welcome. He says, teach him. I'm assuming my son about male history and philosophy. Obviously, there's a lot of things. He's already asking questions to me, and I'm pretty honest with him about the way of the world. And I there's always one caveat with my son when I do talk to him about this stuff, is I always say, please don't talk about it in school because you'll get hung up, man. Just keep it to yourself. Put your head down, do well, get your grades, and then move on.
Well, now, we were talking about Sweden before. Now, at my job, because I work at a place with, I think maybe close to 30 different ethnic groups in my building. And my superintendent's from former Yugoslavia. Do you know anything about Yugoslavia, Ayam?
Not really, no.
Exactly. There's and he told me the reason why America is not allowed to really know about Yugoslavia. You ready for what his answer is?
What?
Because it was a country where socialism actually worked.
What?
Yeah. He was telling me, it was under Tito. Do you know anything about Tito?
Tito?
He was the dictator of Yugoslavia, and he backstabbed Stalin and did his own thing. So Yugoslavia was not friends with NATO, nor was it friends with the Soviet Union during the Cold War.
Okay.
And he was telling me that, he actually made your point that you made to me. He says, do you actually own your home in America? He asked me that. And he goes, and I quoted you. I said, no, because you have to pay taxes. And he starts smirking and laughing. He goes, exactly. He says, in my country, when you own the land, you own the land.
Interesting.
Yeah. And he says that everyone got a house and everything. And under Gaddafi, Gaddafi learned his form of socialism from Yugoslavia, is that rent was illegal. You cannot rent your home.
Really?
You can own property, but you can't rent your property.
Well,
I thought that was pretty wild.
Well, we often hear about how socialism, and it's, I suppose, if you watch a lot of the libertarian talking heads, they'll quite happily point out every failed social experiment of socialism. Apparently the modern one is Argentina.
Oh, it's horrible. It's a horrible fucking one to point to. Oh, God.
Absolutely.
You already know what the inflation rate and everything is over there? Their economy's been in and out, for the past 30 years.
Yeah, I see some horrible shit online. I mean, I see videos of people rummaging through garbage for food. Or
what, Argentina?
Yeah.
Get out of here. I didn't expect that in Argentina.
I also saw videos of people chasing a cow through a field to kill it, to eat it. I mean, like, what? So I don't know. I don't know how much of this shit is real and how much isn't. It's hard to say. But
he brings up his former country, and I was listening to him, and it got broken up. And he says that NATO destroyed Yugoslavia because they didn't. Again, if you look at Western European countries it's bankism, corporatism, fascism, and Yugoslavia was kind of a Cold War, relic in a sense. And then Bill Clinton went after it and balkanized it. You ever heard the term balkanizing a country before?
I have heard of that, yes.
That's his country. His country is part of the Balkans. It got broken up into a bunch of different countries.
So how does that compare to the opposite of the Soviet Union? I mean, when we think
right, that's true. Good point. Yeah, absolutely.
Because the Soviet Union was the opposite. It was like the coming together of broken up nations into one. And when you often hear people, especially libertarian or conservative talking heads, talk about the dangers of socialism, they will point to obviously Soviet Russia and China. But at what point does socialism become communism?
Well, in the Soviet, well, I guess in the Soviet Union, or I guess maybe in a lot of ways what's happening in Sweden. It's hard to tell. You know, it's very hybrid now. Do you understand? You know, the cultural Marxism is one aspect, but you got to look what's going on economically, which is full blown fascism. So they're two heads of the same coin, so to speak.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Regardless if you go way far right or way far left, they meet in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So you're getting a double whammy in the West.
Interesting times. What is it? A Chinese curse? May you live in interesting times? Is that how it goes, or something like that?
It is living in interesting times, but it's still relatively good, thank God.
Yes. Yeah.
All things considered, you're not hungry. You're not eating your fucking animal, are you?
No, we're not wandering through the streets trying to catch wild dogs.
Right, exactly. So it's still not that bad.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Yeah.
But it's cool from a measuring and a philosophical standpoint what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm having some issues with Google, so if we drop out or something, you'll know why. I don't know why today's been kind of shitty for the internet. I don't know.
Well, we've been on a good run lately.
Yeah. I want to bring up here before we finish off the night. I want to bring up sort of as an introduction into what we've agreed we're going to talk about at a later date. Maybe next weekend, maybe not, maybe the weekend following, but we should do it soon. Sort of your research into the modern thoughtism through the dating systems.
Oh, we can talk. We can do a little prevent to that. No, here's the thing though between me and you, and me and you get along. I think I actually don't know what you disagree with me on, and the only things I think me and you disagree on is you think Western women are still having sex. Is that correct?
Western women are still having sex? I don't know, man. I'm fucking out of the loop.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Right, exactly.
Maybe I imagine it to be that way. I don't know.
You sound completely different now. What'd you do to your mic?
Why? What's happening? Is it working? Is it not working?
No, now you sound completely different. Now it sounds like you're a little muffled.
That's just probably my internet connection. There's not much I can do about that right now. Hello?
Oh, you called it. You said it was going to go to Now I hear you. Now you're good.
Yeah, it's going to shit, man, and I don't know. I can't. There's nothing I can do about it.
Okay, so wait, let's back up. So I understand you're out of the dating, obviously at your age and everything, you're not pursuing women, but you don't know what it's more like on a ground level.
Right.
What young guys see. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're 10 years different. I'm 30. You're much older than me.
Yeah, you're basically the same age as my youngest brother.
Okay. What does he say? Do you ever talk to him about it?
Oh God, he was in a relationship. He got a Colombian woman pregnant. All right. Fucking idiot. Mm-hmm. Got this psychopathic Colombian chick pregnant. Now he's got two beautiful twin daughters that he still manages to spend some time with. But I figured after that, he's young, he's 10 years younger than me, but I figured after that he would be like, okay, shit, man, like that's it. Like I stuck my dick in the wrong hole and now I'm paying the price. But then he started dating some fucking white feminist chick. That was just like, holy Christ, man.
He wants to hit it. Obviously, your brother's a horn dog.
But anyway, he's not with her anymore. But I mean, it's hard because as an older brother and being MGTOW as I am, I was ready to just slap him in the fucking head. Like,
well, here's the question. Wait, is he happy?
I think he's happy now, but he's not with her. He's not with her now. That's the thing.
He doesn't. But overall, is he a happy person? Is he a happy person?
Yeah, he's happy. You talked to him. He's the one that we talked to.
Oh, he was awesome.
Yeah. He's the one we talked to. He's about your age.
You got to bring him back. He was one of my favorites.
Yeah, we will bring him back for sure. But yeah, so I don't, like you were saying, I'm really not in the scene. I'm not in the dating scene. I'm not interested.
The reason why I bring it up is because there's this thing called the cock carousel. Have you heard of the cock carousel?
Absolutely,
before?
the cock carousel. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a cock carousel. Cock carousel is a MGTOW illusion. There is no cock carousel. Doesn't exist. The women are not having sex, period. And you know how they are. No, don't get me wrong. They are having sex, but I want to, if guys think women don't notice you, they want to notice that you don't notice them. You see what I'm saying? Women acknowledge you. If you think women see right through you, you're wrong. They do see you, and they want to know that if you notice them or not, right? And it's natural and everything, it's just the way it is. But what has happened is that the way guys are with MGTOW, women are somewhat doing the same thing, but they don't really think about it as much as guys like to perceive.
Well, I always thought about it like this. Look, in order for women to have sex, there has to be men having sex too. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if we both make up 50% of the population, if a lot of men are dropping out of that game, then a lot of women are losing out too.
Correct.
Exactly. And a lot of women, and the women have to compete with one another over the men that still want to play that tired game. So,
well, again, it's a very, very small, minute portion that want to play the game, and they're usually either guys with a lot of money, more money than you and I combined, or a degenerate drug dealer.
Yeah.
And that's the two total opposite ends of the spectrum. So that's what women are going after. In the middle ground, there is no middle ground.
Yeah. So Megalith X says Women's Day, in my view, should be a time of reflecting on the disposable men of history. We've done that, Megalith X. In the beginning of our video, we had quite a good breakdown on that. Ergo Sum says, I agree that there isn't a cock carousel, but not necessarily for the reason Nick claims. What was the reason you claimed? Because why?
They're not having. Why aren't they having sex? Okay, the reason why they're not having sex is once they fuck one of these guys that they always dreamed of fucking, and the guy doesn't commit to them, they say all men are assholes. No, just the guy that you're trying to commit to is an asshole. There's so many other guys here that are willing to date you, but you're focused on one guy who wants nothing to do with you.
Right.
And this goes back to women having blinders. So if they're if they're using, it's a default. When women are on the train, I've seen all the young women, what they do, they're on Tinder and they're on all these other dating websites and they're just swiping left to everything they see. They don't even look at the guy's profile. They just keep swiping left and all the guys swipe right. And I call it the Tinder and the rope-a-dope effect. You're in a mass panic, seeing that you can't find anybody, and you swipe to every fucking thing, even the most grotesque girl, and she knows you are, and that's why she weeds through so many profiles until she sees a guy with like a jet ski in the Hamptons, right? So that's more or less what happened.
So what you're saying is, if you want to find women on Tinder, just post a. Don't put your face on it. Just post a picture of a big pile of cash.
Post a yacht. Just post a yacht. Yeah, do that. And spray. Do a spray tan, pluck the eyebrows, and do steroids. And say you're a banker on Wall Street, and then she'll throw herself at you. And that's a lot of what these girls in New York City do. They think they're going to hit some Wall Street banker with a lot of money. I mean, the ratio of men to women in New York City is out of control. I think there's like 1 in 7 is a guy.
Really?
7 to 1 women.
Wow.
It's just a plethora of young women, but they don't acknowledge the average guy.
No, they wouldn't. That's typical.
Look, we're one of the most expensive cities in the world. You can't blame them. But if you live in a rural countryside, like I said, I went to West Virginia. The women were awesome.
You know, they'll make it clear that they want to talk to you and stuff there. It was pretty nice.
Well, okay, and I wanted to just add, like, these are things that we're going to dedicate an entire video to in the future, maybe next week. Now, I wanted to add that these apps like Tinder, etc., are, in my opinion, what they're doing is they're profiting off of the hypergamy of women, and they're rewarding it. I mean, so we're seeing hypergamy going completely out of control. Like you said, swipe left, swipe left, swipe left. It's just like when we talk. Let's say the cock carousel is just a Tinder app. I mean, it's just there's a man, there's a man, there's a man, there's a man, there's a man. That feeds a woman's hypergamy.
That is, in a sense, a cock carousel. You are right.
Yeah, that's the cock carousel, and that feeds the hypergamic personality of the woman, 100%. I mean,
and here's the other thing: they don't have sex in a sense that first of all, they think their vagina is gold. That's number one. All of them think that. Okay, yeah. And then the other aspect is that guys give them a ton of attention without actually having to do anything. The women can just speak now, and you know the guy's willing to cut his arm off for attention. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so I think we should wrap it up. I just want to make sure we've touched on everything. Yeah, I got no more videos to show here, but I also want to give a shout out to. Hold on a second here. Damn it, I closed that tab. Because, okay, I haven't mentioned this to you either, Nick, but next weekend I'm going to have to do a show on Sunday afternoon as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you're into a Sunday afternoon show, but
we'll talk. Yeah, probably.
Okay. And the reason is because I'm still putting feelers out for people to bring in and talk with. I haven't got any word back from any other big names yet. So any of my followers that are waiting for maybe.
We'll definitely bring your brother back.
Yeah, I'll bring my brother back, definitely. And I'm gonna bring in. There's a few MGTOW that I interviewed in the past that I'm still looking at. I'm trying to get it back in, but we'll see.
I actually reached out to a few too, and they don't seem like they just want to do their own thing, I guess, or they're afraid of live stream, which is understandable.
So, what about your friend who's going through divorce? Do you think that'll happen?
Well, his mother's dying. So wait.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you this. So this mother's dying, and wife leaving him with 2 little girls.
Son of a bitch. That's perfect. That's perfect.
He's really mad. He's pissed. I told him about the show. He's like, "Yeah, it sounds like a really good thing."
If he thinks it's therapeutic, it'll be therapeutic for him, man. I'm all for it.
100%.
I'll definitely
100%.
And he'll have.
So could you imagine that?
Yeah.
And get this, and the lifespan of the relationship goes by your theory. What is it? 5 to 7, maybe to 10.
Yeah.
So they were married for 10 years, and then I asked them, when did it start breaking down? He said, about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So there you got 7 years.
Yeah,
you called it.
And it's a horrible thing if you're a man and you watch your own marriage just fall apart. You feel very, very helpless. Very helpless.
But guys blame themselves, which is part of the problem.
I know. They do. I mean, they shouldn't, but they do, and it's sort of the nature of men. But I'm just speaking from experience that watching it fall apart is a very horrible experience because you feel very helpless. Even regardless of how you approach it, the reality sets in that there's nothing you can do to change it because she's in control, and what she wants, she will get. There's nothing you can do. Yeah, it's very sad.
But you know what? But what you did, you got the last laugh. Yeah. She won the battle, but you won the war.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I give you a lot of credit for that. I think that's pretty fucking awesome.
And actually, I would recommend that to anybody that's going through a divorce is be patient.
You're a general of this. You're a general of MGTOW.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, be patient. Keep your eyes on the big prize. Don't go for the quick wins. Like you want to walk out of there on top. So you got to be very, very patient.
And you did.
Yes.
I'm sure she's killing. She's probably really pissed off with her decision.
Absolutely. My ex-wife now is she's what 30. she's got to be 37 now, maybe 36, 37, and she's alone. She's single, and she doesn't have her kid. Like, she's pathetic.
She never had another kid.
No, never had another kid. Never got married again.
She's broken heart, buddy.
She's single, alone, and pathetic. And I mean, in that culture, a single woman at that age with her, who has a children but can't see it, you can't get more pathetic than that.
Wait, she got the house though, right?
The house, she sold it.
Oh, what an idiot. Well, they all sell their house. My mother did the same thing. I go, don't sell the house. I'm selling it. I don't want to. What are you doing? You're selling it under market value. You're leaving like $50,000 on the table. Yeah. I don't care.
Impulsive.
So impulsive. Man. They're horrible.
A lack of foresight, definitely. Those are qualities. Those are.
Oh God. She gave me some of the money, but I'm like, I'd rather have the house, man.
Yeah, of course. Who wouldn't? Yeah, impulsive, lack of foresight. These are qualities that women have. These are bad qualities of women, of femininity.
So what are the good qualities? There's only a handful of good qualities in them.
Well, when we talk about the qualities of men,
they're really patient. Give women that. I'll give women that. That's why they have a high threshold as teachers, because of their patience.
Sure. I mean, a positive quality of femininity could be said to be patience, for sure.
Yeah. Way up there.
There's definitely a nurturing instinct, I think, that women have, when they're balanced. That's why I think that's maybe why there's mostly women in nursing. But in the same breath, women are capable of mass genocide by just aborting children left and right. So it's really hard for me now today as a MGTOW to say that women are naturally nurturing, because all I see is just I'll be irresponsible with my actions, fuck whoever I want, and if I get pregnant, I'll just kill the child.
Yeah, but I think in long-term health, that's like really bad for you.
Absolutely, it is.
Like doing an abortion, that's got to really like wreck your body.
Oh God! I mean, what is it? Not your body. What does it do to your soul, man? Seriously. Well,
it depends. It depends if they feel guilty, and the women today don't feel guilty.
No,
that's an alarm. That's an alarm bell.
Yeah.
You judge. I discussed this with you. You judge how bad, how psychopathic your nation is by how many women are in prison.
Oof. Well,
it's actually relatively low. It's relatively low, but that just. Yeah, sorry.
Well, it's what's ironic about what you just said is that. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So what's ironic about what you just said is that our society goes out of its way, it bends over backwards to keep women out of prison.
Yeah.
So we need to. Sure, the female prison population is low, but let's compare it to like maybe how many women would be in prison if they were convicted and sentenced on the same level that men were, right?
That's a very good question, and we don't know that number.
We don't know.
There's no way of measuring that. There is no way.
And you could speculate. You could come up with some data to speculate. For example, you could go through data in the court systems. Let's say, find all the women convicted of, let's just say, murder, or charged with murder. Find all the women charged with murder in the last, 50 years, and then find out how many of them didn't go to jail or didn't serve any real time, and then just add those women to the current population and see where you're at. You could do something like that.
Well, or false rape accusations,
tons.
Right? There's tons. And what about just women driving men to the point of killing people and stuff? I mean, let's go down the SJW path. They
Domestic
should be in
violence
jail for that.
Domestic violence
should be in jail. You indirectly caused the murder of a bunch of post office workers.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Right.
So, and if
we don't talk about that.
Yeah, and if we did maybe do some data mining on let's say at female rapists, pedophiles, any kind of sex crime that women get away with these days. And
it's a scandal. It's a scandal. It's an affair.
It's an affair.
Another one got caught. I was gonna, you know what? I was gonna send you the link, but I'm like, fuck it. He probably could care less about this shit because it's just so rampant now.
Oh, it happens all the time. It's incredible.
It's always a hot little 23-year-old teacher banging like a 14-year-old or something. It's just, is it a power trip? Like, I don't know. Now let's go down that. I'd like to ask your opinion on that. What do you think it is? What's the psychology behind that? You tell me. What's your opinion?
It's hard to say. If I was Jordan Peterson, I'd blame it on men. I'd blame it on young boys. But I'm not Jordan Peterson, so I won't say that. But it's really hard to say, man. And I honestly think this psychopathy of the female mind, or the narcissism of the female mind, is being nursed by society. It's being rewarded. Okay? There's nothing more disgusting than an advertisement or a community message or a white knight on some message board on the internet praising the qualities of the single mother. Right?
She's a hero, AM. What are you talking about?
Exactly. I mean, there's nothing...
She's doing it alone. She's working and supporting a baby.
I mean, a completely legitimate situation that should be shamed and is shamed by cultures in the past and many cultures today. Single motherhood. It's traditionally shamed and shamed for good purpose and good reason.
Oh, it's still... Who are you kidding? It's still shame. No one wants to deal with you.
Oh, God, it's not shamed. Are you kidding me?
No, I mean, the media it's not, but if you go on the, you know, if you actually take a look around and walk the streets, no, she's done.
Well, okay, you might, I don't know, man, like how many men will look?
They'll shack up with it, but
yes.
They ain't gonna settle down.
Yes, they'll shack up with it. Okay, maybe they won't settle down, but really, what is settling down? I mean, shacking up is settling down, not these days. I mean, you know...
Right. Well, that's, again, you know, because you're getting rid of the institution of marriage and stuff that it's not, you know, important.
Yeah, but it's for a lot of... Look, again, like, I'm not in the dating scene, but I swear to God, the majority of women that I meet or I know from the past, they're single fucking mothers.
Yep.
They're all single mothers. Like, it's a fucking... It's almost a parody, you know? It's almost a Monty Python skit, but it's real, and everybody just is tripping over themselves trying to pat the women on the back for being like that. It's insane. So these women that
I think, again, it's the media. It's the media, and it's the silence from the people who want to shame it. For whatever reason, you're not allowed to shame people anymore. Yeah. So it's do what you want. It's a do what you want. Again, so like my cousin's getting a divorce, right? And I asked my grandmother, like, aren't you going to do something about this? And my grandmother was kind of like intensive and you know, didn't really want to answer the question and stuff. I'm like, you know, you dropped the ball.
Yeah. Your grandmother, you said your grandmother you were talking to her about?
Yeah, I told you, your grandma, you dropped the ball.
Yeah, your grandmother should be the one going, this is very shameful. You know, you need to think about what's going on in your life. You know, she should be the one because she lived through the reality of that. But
no, my grandmother's been married for 70 years.
Yeah, and that's what I mean is like her generation, they never got divorced, man. And if you did get divorced, you get the fingers wagged at you like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, I told her, disown her. Throw the kids out of the house. No Christmas, no nothing until you get together with your husband.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
And my father tried speaking to her about it, and she got so mad and stuff. And then so no one's talking
because
to her.
She's an independent woman.
Well, this is funny you mentioned this. Okay, so I'm with the husband who everyone loves. We love him more than we love her, even though he's not our blood and everything. Mm-hmm. And he goes like, he goes, I'm still in the house right now. She doesn't know what it's going to be like when I actually leave this house and we sell the house. Then she's going to realize what a mistake she made. I'm like, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because she's still living it up. She thinks everything, you know, she hasn't realized the reality of her actions have not settled in yet.
Well, this is the exact same thing that happened with my ex. She did not have a clue of what her actions were going to lead to. Yeah, right. She had no idea, man. Nothing. Just like, I feel bad today Therefore, everyone must suffer, including my own child.
Right.
And then the next thing she knows, she's fucking alone and old and tired, and is like, wow, what the fuck did I do? So, no, she'll figure it out eventually.
Women are children.
Women are children, absolutely. Now, what you asked me before about why do you think, what is the process, the thought process of these women that are raping young boys? Again, this is, I think it is a result of this. Their narcissism, their natural state of narcissism and hypergamy is being fed 24/7 by the media and by society, by governing laws. If a woman rapes a little boy, we don't even call it rape, and she doesn't.
It's not fair.
Yeah, and she doesn't even go to prison. So what do you think? It's just like, well, look at me. I'm woman. Hear me roar. I'm going to suck this 13-year-old's cock. Like, what the fuck?
To hear me roar by me, because again, it's an attention thing. It's the school. It's taboo, right? This is what's going on through. I'm going to make a name for myself. I'm going to be known as this girl, and there's no shame in it.
None.
It's a masochistic in a way.
Yeah, none. No shame at all. I'd like to just at this point, I'd like to add to our tradition of comparing MGTOW to Islam, because it pisses off a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that a lot of the punishments that you see written in the Quran are based around shame, actually. And the concept of where it talks about being able to hit your wife, right? If she fucking commits adultery or, leaves the house. Or,
just stop for a second though. This is how old is the Quran?
It was 1,400 years.
Okay, so it's 1,400 years old. Okay, and it's clearly stating that women have not changed in 1,400 years. That's pretty much what it's telling you.
Yes.
Like nothing's changed about them, and I'm going to safely assume nothing's changed about men either. And here comes, again, this decadence, decay, pampered generation comes along that hasn't had to make a sacrifice, and this is where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of women that could use a dose, a heavy dose of the Quran over the head, right?
Bump into her on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
I'm more narcissistic than you, sweetheart.
Yeah. I'm not moving.
And you scold her. What the hell were you thinking? Didn't you see me? Mm-hmm. That's what you tell her. Don't let her yell at you. You yell at her back first.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta take control, and maybe that's probably what Peterson's trying to make a point at.
Yeah, he maybe it's, but in the end, I think we can all agree that yes, men do need to take control in that sense. I don't care if you want to make a comparison with Islam or religion, or if you want to make a comparison with what Peterson says.
You saying grow a spine?
Yeah, grow a spine, and I think MGTOW's trying to promote that. I really do. Like, grow a spine, guys. Don't pander to women. Don't
have sex with rubber dolls.
Don't have sex with rubber dolls.
And feel bad for yourself while eating a microwave dinner.
Don't go out of your way to fucking challenge another man because a woman's feelings were hurt. It's like, give me a break. Don't compliment women. Just stop complimenting them.
Hey, 4-year relationship, 4.5-year relationship. I never once said she was pretty or beautiful or anything.
Stop complimenting.
And I always had the upper hand in the relationship.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I think me not complimenting actually had a lot to do with that.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't compliment women. Stop it. You're just feeding their narcissistic, hypergamic ego. Just stop it. Don't tell her she looks good. If she asks you, if a woman says, do my glasses look good? Say no, they don't.
No, and change your hair color and get a. You know what? Get a boob job. That would really help this out a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Don't Megalith X. My spine is MGTOW is to use it to walk away. Of course, that's what the whole point. Walk away.
Right, but you still want to get your penis touched, right? That's my advocacy, and that's where I get a little pissed off with MGTOW. Like, I don't know how many women you've had intercourse with, AM, but my number's fairly high. and I enjoy it. And I'm not gonna, give up, so to speak,
Well, yeah, you're young too. Like, I mean, I'm old enough that I don't really need it as much. You
just look at it.
Yeah,
and it satisfies you.
I don't need it that much. But obviously, yeah, when I was younger, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I mean, society told me I should love it. I need to love it. To be a man, I must love the person.
You're a monk in an abbey, preaching MGTOW.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, but yeah, you walk away from that from the societal constructs of what is put on men today. You want to be a human being, not a human doing. You want self-respect is what you want, and you have to give it to yourself. But as you walk away, don't be afraid to look at a woman and go, "Your hair looks like shit. Your tits are small. What the fuck?"
She'll love you for it.
Yeah, how much do you weigh?
She'll love you saying that, yeah.
Don't be afraid to do that.
Oh, what do you do?
Yeah. Oh, you're having a baby?
To a skinny girl.
Absolutely. And this is the thing, and I've talked about it before with MGTOW, is that you can't avoid contact with women. You have to. You have mothers, you have daughters, or sisters, or cousins, or neighbors, or people you work with. There's always women. Okay, always women. So you're going to have some kind of communication with them. If you're at work, some woman might say to you, "Oh, I got my hair cut today," or you'll notice that she got her hair cut, and it doesn't take much to just walk up to her and go, "Hey, you got your hair cut?" "Oh yeah, I did." It's like, "Back, it looks like shit."
See, who did that? So I know to make sure no one else goes there.
Yeah, okay. Tell me who cut your hair, because I don't want to send my friends there.
Well, to be honest with you, it's. I'll give you an example real quick, and this happened to me yesterday. So I work in a small little office, and people come in and visit me all day. And finally, an attractive woman walked in, and she was Hispanic, very pretty. And I deal with people from other cultures, first world, first world, but real immigrants, green cards, naturalized citizens. They got their paperwork and stuff, so they're right off the boat, these people. And all the people that are right off the boat are really, really nice. Like, they are great, great people. And here comes a Hispanic girl. She's obviously Americanized and everything, and just a nasty, nasty attitude. And you see just like two opposite worlds. Like, I'm like, I'm telling you, they're not pleasant creatures anymore. That is for sure. And it's really sad, because it's going to be a genocide, a full generational genocide that's going to take place in the West.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is another thing on topic about when we were talking about Peterson and my own experience of having a kid and dealing with this stuff. I don't know how many MGTOW men out there are divorced and have their kids full time. Maybe not many. But there is, I've heard a lot of, I know a lot of MGTOW men, younger men these days, are avoiding marriage and procreation altogether, which is a good thing, an absolutely good thing.
Yeah, it can't be recommended.
No. I could never, with a good heart, recommend. Oh yeah, just give it a shot.
What's more concerning is if you become a minority.
Yeah.
Let's go down the fringe aspect. Let's say your kids happen to become a minority in their own country. With the way the media is right now, that is a real big problem for you. Yeah. Real big.
Yeah. But I have to say, I must say that having the ability to influence and teach my kid these things is a very good benefit. So don't go out and have kids so you can teach them something. That's a bad idea. But if you already have kids and you have the ability to be in their lives, do it. As a man, do it. And try to influence that generation. We don't.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm still with my dad. I had to. My.
Yeah. Hello. Lost Nick.
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
It's good having your family around. I think it's great. I had a pretty nice childhood. My mom stayed home. I was exposed to. I really thank my parents for the music. They played really awesome music when I was a little kid.
No, stream is continuing. We just went offline for a second. Holy Christ, this internet connection is shit today, man. I got to figure out what's going on.
Is it snowing by you?
No, it's not snowing.
No, it snowed the other day.
But anyway, yeah, you're right. It's good. It's good to have. It's just in today's society, and I mention this often. Is there is very little male influence for children, and Peterson is huge on that. Okay, Peterson is all about, look, we need masculinity is not toxic. We need it, but he pushes it all the way to disposability. We at MGTOW here we don't like that. So instead we say, be a positive influence on children as a male. That's important. Make a difference. Anyway, let's are you still there, Nick? Can you hear me? Are we fucked up?
Yeah, we can end it.
All right, we're going to end the show. Thank you everybody for watching. I just want to mention that next week I might do 2 shows again, in being that I have a guest that can only do a Sunday show, and so I will be doing a stream Sunday afternoon, probably around 1:30 or 2 o'clock. Nick, if you're around, you can be a part of that stream as well. And Saturday we'll do regular Saturday as well. So,
all right, au revoir.
All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and be safe, be wise. We'll see you again soon.